Say now, who do?
To the regularly scheduled public meeting of January 24th, 2022 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
under
one
God,
nation,
indivisible,
under God, indivisible, and liberty
and justice for all.
I Sue roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Here.
Councilwoman Feeney, Councilman Sears,
Here.
Councilwoman Velez,
Here.
Council President Morgan.
Here. Okay, let the record reflect also in attendance, Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township, is Mr. Tovo here?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see him.
I'm here.
Okay, Township Attorney Poller and Township Clerk Witkowski. Okay, so the PSA for tonight, every home in the United States is eligible to order 4 free at-home COVID-19 testing kits. The tests are completely free and orders will usually ship in 7 to 12 days. Please visit www.covidtests.gov. That's www.covidtests.gov to place your order. COVID-19 vaccines are now available to everyone 5 or older who live, work, or study in New Jersey. We encourage Bergen County residents to visit www.bergencovidvaccine.com. It's www.bergencovidvaccine.com to schedule an appointment. For those requiring assistance with scheduling, please call 201-967-4070 Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Due to the newest wave of COVID-19, the township offices are closed to the public until further notice. All department personnel are still working in person and remotely and are accessible via telephone and email. Please continue to use our drop box outside of Town Hall for all correspondence. All correspondence must be in a sealed envelope addressed to the proper department. No cash should be placed in the drop box. The Township Council is soliciting resumes and/or letters of interest and qualifications from township residents for 2 alternate member positions filling unexpired terms for the Zoning Board of Adjustment. The functions of the board are described in the Township Code, Chapter 585. All interested parties are asked to submit documents by the end of the business day, Tuesday, February 1st, to be considered for the appointment. Please submit letters to Susan Witkowski, Township Clerk, 350 Hudson Ave, Township of Washington, or electronically to Sue Witkowski at switKowskI@TWPOFWASHINGTON.us. That's switkowski@twipofwashington.us. The Township of Washington is looking for crossing guards. Please visit our website for further information. 2022 animal license renewals were mailed out in late December. Please note a $5 late fee begins on February 1st. Warming Center will be open in the Senior Center during extreme temperatures from noon to 7 p.m. Before entering, please stop at the police desk to sign in. Please take a moment to visit our website for our snow removal guidelines, parking bans, and emergency reminders. I do have a question for anyone who can answer. What is considered extreme temperatures, and will it be posted somewhere so that they'll know that it's open? Is it going to be on the electronic board, Sue?
That, Mayor, what would you consider, or Mr. Tovo?
Whatever people consider extreme. If they feel a need, they need to come to the senior center because they're having an issue, we'll make it available. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Sure.
Okay. We have approval of minutes for December 6th, 2021. Everyone had a minute to look it over? Okay. Daisy, this is one before you came on, so can I have a motion to approve minutes?
So move.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Hi, Stacy, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi,
Sorry
Stacey.
I was late. My router decided that it didn't want to work.
I know, we're all itching to get back in.
Yeah, I agree. Any word on that?
The numbers stay down for a while.
So sooner rather than later, because the numbers are trending downward. So, all right, we have a presentation. Anthony Passananti from Washington Lake Association, from Schlegel Lake. And I believe Mr. Sears also, your name is next to this.
Right, I'll just follow up with Anthony's presentation.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
So am I up?
You're
You're
up.
Okay. So I think this presentation is long overdue, but it's taken me a couple of years to kind of pull everything together as far as videos and photos. And I've been meeting with Tom for the past 2 years and the mayor. I believe John was at the lake after the storm. Yep. So my presentation is, I'm just going to make everyone aware as to what's been going on at Washington Lake, like flooding, especially last year with the 2 major storms that we had, massive amounts of debris that continue to enter the lake from Muscatine Brook, algae blooms that we deal with consistently every summer, and the lake for the past 30, 40 years just filling in with sediment and debris. So those are really the things I want to talk about. And Tom brought it to our attention recently that the state is offering a grant, which would absolutely fit what we're looking to do perfectly. So this is really why I wanted to make this presentation to all of you, to make everybody aware of really what's going on. Then Tom will follow up after my presentation, but this grant is probably the most important thing that Washington Lake will ever see, and I think your town as well. So if nobody's familiar with the lake, I just want to give a little brief history on it. So Washington Lake was formed in 1947. We consist of 5 board members, which are not paid. We're all volunteers. We have a treasurer, we have a secretary, we have monthly meetings, and currently we have a total of 267 households, which all pay yearly dues into the lake to manage it. In 1980s, I don't know the exact date, but the lake was dredged. We had 2 new dams that were built. The center of the lake was dredged down to what I was told was 60 feet, and the north end was approximately 10 feet. Then in 2003, just the north end and a little bit of the brook was dredged back down to 10 feet by the Mosquito Commission. We have 2 dams. We have a South Dam and we have a West Dam, which are managed by the New Jersey Dam Commission, but they're paid for by the Washington Lake Association. So we have basically biannual inspections of our dams. If anything is wrong with them, it needs repairs. So we have to pay for it. We have to manage it. We have to run it. But the state is really the one that is managing our dams, inspecting them, and also telling us, whether to lower the lake or not to lower the lake. So we kind of take cues from them. But our lake acts as flood control for everyone downstream. So currently, as I said before, the lake was dredged down to 60 feet in the 80s. It is currently now 30 feet. So if you do the math, we're losing almost about a foot a year. The north end was between 10 and 12 feet at one point. Now it's anywhere from 12 inches to 3 inches. Okay? It's filling in at an accelerated rate, and soon the north end will become a swamp. And the water from the brook will continue to flood the surrounding areas. We get major algae blooms that start in that north end because it's so shallow. And then everything just sort of, works its way up to the main lake. And then we have to use chemicals. You have all the sediment all built up with high phosphorus loads and nitrogen from all people's fertilizers. So I went around 3 years ago, which I'm going to get into sharing my screen and showing you photos. So the first thing that's going to talk about is how the lake is filling in. And then after that, I'm going to get into what happened after Ida. So the lake currently has 7 open storm drains that flow directly into the lake with no filters. Sediment, debris, and fertilizer directly flow into the lake after every single storm. You can clearly see where the drains enter the lake, where it's just a massive amount of buildup from over the years. There's all the sediment coming down. Just wanted to know if anybody recalls when the last time a catch basin was cleaned. And I'm going to show you an illustration, but typically a catch basin, if you're not familiar with it, is when the water enters a storm drain and goes down, there's a pit at the bottom, which is supposed to collect all the sediment and leaves first, and then the water rises and goes out the pipe. My entire time of living here, I have never seen a truck where they actually pull off the drain and they take a vacuum truck and it's supposed to vacuum out all these catch basins all the way around. So it keeps the sediment, so the sediment doesn't come up and over into the water and then into the lake. We'll touch base on that in a little bit.
Anthony, I have to just interject. They didn't do it for a while, but they have been doing it more recently. So I don't have to think they're not doing it now. We have been for about a year.
Here. So we always have a yearly cleanup in the fall. All volunteers, we lower the lake a little bit and then we go around as far as we can get and we clean up all the debris that comes down from that river. Typically, we fill up anywhere from 2 to 3 30-yard dumpsters every single year of logs, sticks, debris, garbage, basketballs, plywood, you name it. Anything that comes down out of that river. In fact, one year I heard a coffin floated down the river, but that was a long time ago. So like I said, most of it is sticks, giant logs, it all come from the brook. And I know this was brought up before, and Tom brought it up to me too, about installing what they call a boom, and John will know about that, at the river, at the footbridge, which will catch most of that debris before it actually enters our lake. Because you guys have an easier access point by the footbridge. You have a paved road that goes right down to it, which I believe you used during the storm after Ida. You brought some backhoes down and some trucks down there to clean that out. So that's, again, we'll touch base on that, but I'm going to try to share my screen. And I'm just going to go through. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I went on Google Earth and I just did a little history. So this is 2002. This here is the brook. This is the north end of the lake. You can see how it's clear, right? There's nothing there. Yeah, that's 2002. That's 2010.
Mhm.
You can clearly see all this stuff starting to fill in here. It's some algae, but it's filling in. (2014) a little blurry. 2016, and then 2018. You can actually see these are islands starting to form. I just wanted you to see that. So just going to go here. I'm just going to show you some of the stuff that we get. These are algae blooms that happen in the lake. I just want to kind of show you what they look like. It's not pretty. And it typically starts, then works its way down into this main lake, and then we have to treat it. So we have a company that manages our water quality, and they come sometimes twice a month to treat it, and then it clears up. But this is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with as far as the algae goes. And then for the north end,
north end of the lake by Citizens Park,
No, it's not good.
giant open sewer drain. Can't even get within 50 feet of it, it's so shallow. Show you how shallow it is.
you hear this?
Here it's about 6 inches. If you're
Wow.
pushed within the water. Here it goes down about 3 feet of sediment.
You already hear that?
I just had a question back. You had said the state comes in and inspects. How often do they come in? Twice a year, once a year?
They only inspect our dams.
Okay.
So it's a biannual. So they come every 2 years.
July 28th, 2019, north end of the lake.
Mr. Tovo, do we have a record as to how often prior to them coming this year we've been cleaning out those storm drains? Do we keep records of that?
Over here to the left side. Let's see.
Am I on mute?
And can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, DPW does keep a record of how often the storm drains are cleaned out. As the mayor said, there was a number of years where it wasn't done, but now they are on a regular schedule to get caught up and get them all done. Just so council is aware, is a shared piece of equipment, a jet vac we share with Emerson and a few other towns.
okay. Thank you.
Showing how the lake is filling in. Here at the north end. Creating all kinds of growing vegetation. Becoming a swamp.
You guys seeing this? I mean, it
Yeah, we're seeing it.
looks
Yeah.
like a swamp.
It looks like a swamp. Yes, you're right.
And these major algae blooms, are extremely harmful. Not only the fish, we could have the fish kill, but it's not even good for humans. So that's really, the north end. I really wanted you to see how it's filling in, what's going on. It looks like a swamp. It's a mosquito haven. It's barely holding any water. But I went up the brook a little bit, and I just want to show you this.
You can actually see the transition line. So here it is before the bridge. And then just past the bridge. Almost a line of scum and algae. See it starting right there through the bridge. Through water. Still very clear. They were past the bridge. There's sewer drain. And there's a line of scum right there. Huge difference. Huge difference.
So
There's
it's a giant right by the footbridge. So you can see in my video clearly the line of where the algae starts from all the phosphorus and fertilizers that's coming out of here. But that, let me show you. It's crystal
pretty
clear.
amazing how clear the river is past the bridge. To the water. Fish in there. And then when you go past the bridge, that's where all the open sewer lines are.
Is that amazing how clear the water is? And then it's from one extreme right to the next. So that really shows the north end, what's going on with the north end. The north end, what's going on with the north end. This is the map that I made. So this is the north end, which I just showed you. This is Muscatink Brook, if I'm saying it correctly. And these are all the open storm drains that are draining directly into our lake. And then here's the dams. We call this our west dam, and this our south dam here. Obviously, water flows from here, comes through, it goes out here, and it goes out here. And these are the dams that we manage. Okay. So that's a storm drain. So one of our trustees actually was walking on the footbridge. This might have been maybe 2 years ago. It was during a storm with that big storm drain that I showed you. I want you to look at it and see what's coming out of that pipe. That's what happens after a storm. Here's another one. So you can see what's happening after when we get storms. Is the sediment debris just flowing right into the lake. Let's make sure here. So I have a really cool video I want to show you. This is North End with all these islands that started to form from all the debris that's been backed up. You can see you could practically almost walk across it. This island right here is actually with the storm Ida. It pushed the whole island into the lake. So all this here used to be 8 to 10 feet. So all this here used to be 8 to 10 feet, and now it's about a foot or less. Okay, and right here is another huge open storm drain right here. So it gives you a really good indication of what's happening to our lake. Pretty upsetting. You know, been trying to figure this out for years, you know, what to do. You know, just trying to solve it. I mean, everything comes down out of that brook. And everything comes out of all these storm drains that it's, you know, just not been managed for a very long time. you know? We have a gem here in our town, and we really need to fix it up and take care of it, you know? So that's the north end. Yes. So I want to get into the storms that we had last year, especially Ida.
Anthony, I don't know how much time we have, so if you just want to make sure we see all the crux of everything that you need us to see, just with time,
Okay.
you know, in the back of your mind, just, you know, being mindful of that. So
I'm going to show you, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but Ida was a crazy storm. We had houses that never flooded, that flooded on our lake. I know you had houses around town that flooded, probably, you know, because of the lake. So I just want to show you after the storm what our dam looked like. Pretty insane, isn't it?
Insane.
Yeah. It's like nothing anybody has ever seen before. Now, here's just some photos so you can see them. Unbelievable, the amount of debris that came down out of that river. Because it's been neglected for so long. I mean, look at this. So the water this jammed up our dam that the water couldn't even flow out of this dam anymore. That the water went over to the other dam and everything just backed up. Houses got flooded. I know houses got flooded upstream, houses got flooded downstream, but this should never, ever happen.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's the size of a football field. This is a photo of the guys cleaning out the bridge and then sending it our way. You know, I know the place to go, but what do you think it went? Right down into our lake for us to clean up. And this is a little small, but, you know, this is that paved road where the trucks are. And, you know, I was telling John and Tom that river boom can go right here. You know, where the DPW can easily have access to it, clean it up. So, I mean, that's pretty much what the storm looked like. I mean, this how far the water came up. It came up about anywhere from 15 to 30 feet up people's lawns. And then when it receded, this is what it left. That was after the storm. I want to show you a few photos of, when we had to clean it up. All this debris that came out. So this was, you know, just shows the water coming up onto people's lawns. This was actually in October, you know, which we have never seen this. You know, with waters coming up after this home just got flooded from Ida, that was creeping up again back onto her lawn. So that's Ida, that's the stuff. And I wanted to show you something very important too. One of our board members after Ida walked up the Muskapink Brook, and I want to show you the videos and the photos that he took of what that river looks like.
This is the bridge on Pascack Road. Bethany Church parking lot. Completely blocked the whole stream. This is the upstream side of Pascack Road, all along the stream, basically in the parking lot of the old, I think it was TD Bank. Other side of the stream, giant logs everywhere. Ten yards past that, there's the bank parking lot. Look at all this debris waiting to go downstream. Look at this. Look at this tree. Look at that tree. Look at the road.
I don't have to show you anymore. So now, this is the photo taken the other day. This is all now new debris. That's gonna end up where? Right back into our lake.
Right.
The lake that we just spent over $20,000 ourselves cleaning it up because nobody wanted to help us. So,
Anthony, wait, I got to stop you there. It's not that we wanted to help you. We're limited in what we can do. So it's not that no one wanted to help you. I don't like when you say that. We've been out there and you know, we've looked at it and we're trying to work with you, and saying no one wanted to help you, I think is a misnomer.
I didn't want you to take that the wrong way. You know, nobody wanted to help us with payment. And we felt like, you know, this stuff doesn't come from us. You know, Lake Association is not putting this debris into our lake, you know, and it's just to everybody on the lake, it's so unfair that this has to happen. It's such a beautiful lake, and that I feel like our hands are tied, you know. Yes.
Anthony, if I can just interrupt.
Sure.
1 second. It is a private lake. Let's get that understandable. I've been working on this situation for 3 years now?
Yeah.
I have brought the county in. The county has looked at it. Floating crane in, but it was broken. We did get the mosquito commission to spray all of the outlets in the lakes. There is some drainage problems. I will point them out when I get an opportunity to talk. But not all of that debris actually flowed down the creek. I mean, I know for a fact that certain people's property bordering the lake, the chunks of wood came off of their property. But I do agree with it. It came off of their property. But I do agree with it. It is a lot of debris. And a lot of it's coming upstream. We got some big construction going on up there. I did talk to the people who are trying to clean up the waterway next to the old racquetball club. You know, get them in there to pull those dead trees out. But I agree with you. It is a problem. I've been working with Pete for 2 years on this. I've actually walked the whole creek area from Pascack Road down past the bridge into the lake. And I checked the best I can that stream, the brook, has not been dredged or cleaned for over 50 years. So you have a lot of sediment that's built up in there. And I can actually point out the spots that is flat with the lake, that flooded the commons, that flooded Bethany Church, that flooded the houses on Chestnut. You can see that the lake has filled up with sediment. The stream has filled up with sediment. I'm trying to get the lake, the brook, dredged 3 to 4 feet, no more than that, the length. of the thing, that will allow a cleaner water to flow. We can pull all the dead trees, and there's more dead trees that are now in there. I've been working with the county. And matter of fact, the other night, I think I was with Councilwoman Velez and the mayor. We talked to Assemblyman Robert Orr and Deanne DeFugio about getting some type of grant money and water money to clean up that waterway from Pascack Road up to the lake. Now, both of them at that meeting said there is money available. So I find hard to believe when I'm told there's no money available. I'm being told by 2 state assemblymen there is money available. Put that aside. I was given a contact by Assemblyman Robert Orr, which I called. This person's going to investigate, if there's any more money out there, we can do it. I would like to see from Pascack Road down, it's up 1,640 feet from Pascack Road to the main, on the other side of the bridge to the opening of the lake. If we can get that dredged and clean out, number one, we're going to have much faster water flow. We're going to have less flooding in Washington Commons, Bethany Church, and the houses on the other side. If we do that step and start cleaning out the north end of the lake, which it is built up. I mean, there's trees in there, and that used to be the fire department's emergency entrance to the lake, where we would bring our boat and back it up there. You could walk right across it right now. It's just cluttered. So I don't know, which I feel if there's money that was out there, and I think a little common sense and a little research and pushing a couple of these state assemblymen, we could get some money. I'm not saying we're going to get hundreds of thousands,
And
but
Tom, if they're gonna dredge that part, maybe they can work with the Lake Association and dredge part of the lake, because that's the other problem too. The water's not able to move or flow or anything.
right. Well, the first thing is let's clear up the flooding areas in that whole section. Now, you might get a DEP. You need them to come in and look. Well, all they're going to see is silt, 3 to 4 feet down. Now, I talked to 3 separate engineers that gave me 3 separate opinions on it. Opinions are great, but action is much better. I mean, we can do this. It's not brain surgery to get this clean. According to like I said, the 2 state officials, there's money out there. And Sustainable New Jersey sent out the paper, which I sent to Anthony, applying for grants. I mean, we need to do this. And the most important thing is you're going to have Elk Road construction in Hillsdale. Drainage is going to come down off of that hill through Lincoln Park, all the way down across Washington Avenue, down through the lake, past TD Bank. Now you're going to have the Racquetball Club. Their drainage is going to go that same way. You don't know what's going to happen with Franklin Court. I believe eventually that water drainage runoff is going to go down there. So I would much rather act now and be turned down for a grant, but the opportunity's there. And after these 2 last storms, I saw the flooding in Washington Commons, hundreds of thousands of dollars for Bethany Church, homes along the lake, Chestnut Avenue, right by the bridge there, going into the lake. And, it's an asset, yes. It's private, yes. But the amount, and also when we cleaned up Martini Park, the green team was there, the 2 drainages that come off of that road were clogged so bad, we literally were pulling trees out and debris to get the water to flow out of there. So that needs to be checked periodically. And that is not Lake Association property. I think that might be Township right there. You have a 10-foot footage over there, Anthony?
Well, it's from the water's edge.
From the water's edge over. So that might be where we need to do, but need to open that up. Now, I also got a call several months ago of an oil stream that was coming down the stream into the lake. And I tried to track it back as much as I can. So I don't know if it was dumped from where the construction site is or somebody's dumping into the sewer. But obviously I could see the oil stream coming all the way down. So
There's got to be there's got to be, like you're saying, water quality, stormwater management, all those things.
I mean, the day the green team was there, we must have pulled out 50 pounds, 100 pounds of debris, plastic bottles, basketballs, just an EPS styrofoam. This is all pollution that's going into this lake. And
thank you, Tom, for everything that you and the green team do to help with the residents on the lake, honestly. But Anthony, what do you need? What do you like? What is on your wish list? Like, if we could do something, what is it that you're looking for?
Well, the goal really, Tom brought this grant to our attention. So we need the town, your help, Tom's help, whoever can help to apply for this grant, because there's millions of dollars in this grant, and we fit this perfectly.
And the time frame is running on this, because usually these grants come out, they give you a month and a half to apply for it, and then they shut it down.
Do we know when the time frame is?
I'll have to go back and look at the grant. I don't have it in front of me right now.
Does it matter who applies for the grant? Can we do it in conjunction with the Lake Association? Is that, Tom, what do you think? What's your opinion on that?
I think we could assist them in applying for the grant. The township can apply for a grant, and then we might be able to assist them to apply for their grant. It could be a twofold. Now, I saw John raised his hand.
Yeah, Mr. Yakimic, you had something you wanted to say.
I don't think you can do that.
Yes.
Well, again, we have to think out of the box here.
Let Mr. Yakimic
Yeah.
speak, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Council President. I believe the deadline for that is February 15th, or the third week of February. We looked initially at the parameters of the grant. By the way, first, Anthony, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for bringing we met at the lake, but thank you for all that information. I will need to know the location of the drains, that graphic that you had up there. So whatever information you could send me is helpful to us, because we have to document where all the outfalls are in the lake.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the focus is obviously on this grant. I could call Assemblyman Bob Ross, who I work with on many grants in other jurisdictions. I could call his office tomorrow, find out particulars from him on what Mr. Assemblyman North is talking about. Our initial take on this grant is that it is not for sediment removal. We've identified a person down at the DEP. Her name is Catherine Schaefer, who is the administrator of this grant. And our environmental experts are trying to contact her to get precisely what the parameters of this grant are. As I said, it doesn't seem to be centered around sediment removal. It seems to be centered upon things such as algae blooms, like you mentioned. So time is of the essence. I think that's the way that I will talk to Mr. Tovo tomorrow, but I believe that's the way we should work towards identifying precisely what this grant is for, and see if there's a way for the township to apply for it, for at least things that are upstream of the private lake, or some sort of a cooperative agreement there. But I don't want to speak for the mayor or for Bob on this. So,
all right, John, the other person that Bob Orr told me is looking into the grant is Iva Malek.
yes,
MALEC.
yes, she's associated with
Marlena Cassidy.
yes, who's deceased. That's Capital Alternatives. Al Maioki, who works for Capital Alternatives, very good friend of mine for decades, reached out to me, wanted particulars on what Washington Township was seeking. I replied back to him. Unfortunately, Al is centered upon DOT and Department of Transportation items. He's not really up to speed on DEP items. So, and Ivana, she relies on Al for information, as best as I could tell. So, I think me contacting Assemblyman Orth's office and also Catherine Schaefer down at the DEP, and to get in contact with these people over the next couple of days, we could get precisely what this grant is for and make the necessary application if so authorized.
And reach out for Assemblywoman Deanna DeFuscio too. She was a very active when we were meeting at the seasons that she could get us pushing for a grant.
Okay.
So you have both of the assembling people.
I have nothing else, Council President, unless anyone has any questions at this time.
Does anyone have any questions? Anthony, do you have any questions for Mr. Yakimic?
I mean, I really just want to stress, how important this is to everybody here. We're here to work together with you. I want everybody to know that. We're not working against you. We need you guys and us to work as a team to get this done. It's not just benefiting the lake, it's more benefiting the town, with the flooding issues that happen and that are going to continue to happen if this is not taken care of. So I'm sure many people, not even just lake members, but a lot of the township people that live in town that got flooded would like to see all this stuff taken care of. But I'm here, I'm ready to work. We just hopefully can work together and get this done. I mean, it's been a long time, but I have a lot of people banking on me.
Thank you. Dr. Cascio, I didn't mean to cut you off before. Did you say something? You wanted to add something about the grant not being?
Oh, yeah. From what I understand, it's only for grants or government entities. And we've had this problem. Westwood had this problem at one time. Going back to the history, the lake was dredged in the late 70s and was completed in the 80s, because I remember walking across that lake very easily, going from my house to the basketball games at night. So, and half of that sediment is in my parents' old backyard, because I wheelbarrow leveled out our yard. So I know a little history of this lake. Now, it's a man-made lake, and anything the man makes, nature tries to take back by filling it in. That's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, no matter how many times you dredge that lake and what you do, it's going to, fill in. So again, I think that probably the best bet for at least remedying it in some way, fixing it, is taking care of the upstream stuff, as Tom was mentioning, the feed to it. Because when you have a good flow, just like any type of plumbing, it's going to push all that stuff down towards your dams. And that's what you really want. You want good flow. In that respect, I think that's probably something that we really want to, focus on. That would be my opinion. I'm not an engineer, but, just pure logic, physics dictates that would be very helpful. Can you actually dredge out the north part of the lake? You could. I don't know how long it would really last and help out. I know back when I was on council back in 2010, 2011, there were talks about the township taking over the lake at one time. That's probably not an option that we want to do. But it's a private entity. That's where I think the sticking point is with these grants. I think that's a sticking point. But hopefully, we get someone that's cooperative. We'll work with the Lake Association as much as we can. But, again, there's only so much the government can do. And to Mayor Pete's point, we do take care of those catch basins. And catch basins are designed to take care of moderate storms. They cannot hold, these storms of great proportions that we've had in the recent past. That's not what they're designed for, 100-year storms. And any type of debris that's in there, it's going to float into the lowest point, which is the lake, unfortunately. And I know we are cleaning those catch basins. We've talked about it many times, because I know probably 6 years ago when I was running for re-election, I walked around and I saw those catch basins were full. And I have to say that the mayor and the former mayor were very attentive to getting those catch basins cleaned, because I brought it to their attention. So we are cleaning those. And I know we're on it now, pretty much on a regular basis. And I'm sure the town will continue to do that. So those are the points I've had. And, hopefully we get some money to help out. But, this stuff's going to Trenton, and anything can happen in Trenton. You know how that is.
Exactly.
So keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, we just need to make it a priority to continue to clean those things out as well. Hang on one second. Councilwoman Velez, just give me 2 seconds, because Mr. Yakimic had his hand up before. You were going to say something else?
I just want to say the DEP watches us, and we have to yearly report to them the cleaning of these catch basins. So we're just not nice people because we want to do this. We have to do this. We're required to do this by the DEP. That's all I wanted to say.
But what happened before? Because it was said that you started doing this.
I cannot speak to my prior tenure, Council President.
You were just here this year?
2-3 years, I think. I think this is the third year I'm here.
Yeah.
So we've had some issues in the past, and with the DEP, we're bringing the township up to compliance with them with the cleaning of these catch basins more and more and more each year.
Okay, I'm just going to ask that it become a priority, because it's clearly an issue. Councilwoman Velez?
That was my question. How often are they supposed to be cleaned, to help this matter? And how often were they cleaned or neglected? How long were they neglected for?
I asked that same question before.
Is there a record of when these catch basins were cleaned? Going back?
I do not know that. The Department of Public Works is supposed to keep a record of the cleaning. They're supposed to inspect them on a regular basis. Certainly, if I see a clogged catch basin, I let them know, and they're supposed to log it in.
Well, what's the minimum required by the state?
They just basically want to see you doing it. They typically ask the questions: how many catch basins do you have in the town? How many have you inspected? Do they expect you to inspect every single catch basin in town per year? I would say the answer is no. However, I believe they would expect you to inspect them every single catch basin within a 2-year period. So as long as you show progress through them, that you're inspecting them and that you're keeping up with the maintenance of them in a reasonable amount, the DEP is satisfied. And I would say this, that it is heightened by the lake and what we're hearing, and that if I would make any recommendation to the Department of Public Works, I would consider the catch basins and the system that empties into the lake as a priority.
So I have, just from speaking to members around the lake and people that have been here for 20, 30 years, they have never seen a truck pull up and lift open the grate and vacuum out a catch basin. I mean, if I would like to physically walk around with somebody around the lake.
That's what I'd like to do.
Whenever you're ready, Anthony, we'll take a walk. It's no big thing.
Okay.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Velez, I'm sure they wouldn't mind you joining.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we definitely, your presentation is well received. And I think I speak for the council when I say that we understand the situation. We physically saw, what you're talking about. I can only say that it's on my radar. I'm gonna, be prudent about it, as I know will Mr. Sears. And I'm going to ask that the recommendation that Mr. Yakimic made, that it become a very high priority on DPW's list, and that we do have good records of when I don't care what we had before. Clearly, we didn't have a well-organized record collection of whatever happened prior to this year. As Mr. Tovo mentioned before, it wasn't really being done. That's not okay moving forward. So moving forward, I think we need to put it on the project tracker or something, because it is, in my world, it would be considered a corrective action plan. We weren't doing it. There's an issue that occurred, and what are we doing to make sure that this doesn't happen again, where we're responsible? So I'm going to ask that it is something that goes on the project tracker until it's something that is consistent and you feel that it can be removed from the project tracker. Is that okay, Mr. Tovo?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Councilwoman Feeney.
Yeah, I'd like to also add, part of that is the status of the grant. If we could get, since the deadline for the grant is so close, if we could get updates. I think the next meeting is the 7th, but if we could get updates before. And speaking of grants, I know there was a recent article about the grant that we weren't part of. I'd like to get feedback from the grant writer about what happened, why we weren't included, or were we included and we didn't meet the criteria. Just some sort of an update on that. Because I think that needs to be addressed, because we have some spaces, and I just, if we didn't qualify, fine, all good. I just would like to know about status and where we stand. And then, also the status of, because I was reading some of the grants and I noticed, and in other conversations with other people, that it's not just the grant writer's responsibility to push our grants forward, but it's also, Johnny Kimmick's helping, and other, Boswell. So is there like a quarterly meeting, quarterly review? I'd like to just know if not, is it something we could start going forward to say, like, this is what we have going on in town? Like, I don't know, the issue with the Garden State Parkway and the exit is there. I know there's some safety grants out there for transportation, things like that. Just would like to know if you're having like a quarterly meeting, or if not, can we start a quarterly meeting?
And checks and balances, that maybe there's a grant out there that you're not aware of, and the grant writer is, and vice versa. So is there a system that you guys utilize to make sure that we're getting the most grants that we possibly can?
Well, that's one of the reasons why Bob.
Sorry, Mr.
One of the reasons why I went to Bob Orth and Deanne. They know what grants are out there. And when Daisy and I were talking to them, they said that there's money out there for this. I sent him a write-up. He wanted a write-up. So he sent that to him Monday. I'm sorry, Friday. So
yeah, but
unless we push, unless we get there, and we need to count on those two. I'm going to put them on the spot tonight. They said they would help us to get a grant for this.
I 100% agree that the assembly people should absolutely help us, but we have another route that we pay for, a grant writer. So we should be getting it from several different areas. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
Mr. Kimmick, you were saying something?
Yes. So Boswell Engineering, we're not that we're tooting our horn. We're town engineers for 30 to 35 municipalities. We have a system in place on a regular basis. When we hear about grants, there's a blast that goes at our end to let our municipalities know of these grants. So it comes from our direction. And when we get it, I go directly to the administrator of my clients to bring it to your attention. Interestingly enough, this particular DEP grant did not come through that blast, that this was something that municipalities should latch onto. That happens. I also have the grant writer does float grants through emails every so often, and I comment on them, and Bob comments on them if they're applicable or not. I typically don't call them, but I see them all the time. So I'm willing to call Bob Orth's office tomorrow and speak with Bob. I see him a lot, and talk to his staff on getting the particulars of this DEP grant. So there are several avenues that crisscross ourselves and the administrator on grants for the township.
John, you may want to sign up to Sustainable New Jersey, because
Mhm.
that's where I saw the grant come through.
I want
Thank
to
you.
Matter of fact, I see a lot of grants come through there.
guys, 1 second. I just want to let Anthony go. And to finalize that, we can finish up this conversation. But do any of the council people have any further comments or questions for Anthony?
The only other question I have is when you asked about a wish list, besides having the town help you with this grant, what else can we do? You know, clean the catch basins, but what else can we do on our end?
Our major basically to have that north end dredged, figure out what's going on with these storm drains, clean out all the catch basins, look at some kind of, and John might know this, is some kind of filters that can go on these things before they enter the lake, you know, with the fertilizers, all through the neighborhoods, entering the lake. That's a huge factor with our algae blooms.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd be able to throw a filter in those
Yeah.
tin things. You'd clog up and
Okay.
be backed up all the way into the streets.
Right. So it's really,
You're
storm drains, north end, taking care of that, and anything that I can do. I mean, I'm here, who should be my point person? Is it Tom?
I think you should work with Tom. I think Tom is going to, Tom, are you okay with that being the point person?
I have no problem, but I will definitely keep the mayor and Mr. Tovo, in the loop with any discussions we're having.
Absolutely, absolutely. But for
And yourself, naturally.
Mhm.
And the council.
What about the county, Tom?
The county, I sent a message out to John again, Callahan, about his crane that drops over. I haven't gotten anything back, but I will follow up tomorrow again, because last time we tried to get it for the dams and it was broken. So I don't know where the county stands with that crane, but I'll definitely find out.
Okay. Don't forget all that debris that comes down into our lake. We can't afford it anymore. And I don't know what's going to happen once we can't afford to clean it up.
Well, you're going to get a lot of floods.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Desiree, I have a couple things I'd like to add.
Okay, yep.
I raised my hand since my camera's broken.
I'm so sorry, I didn't see you.
No worries, no
Sue,
worries.
did you see him?
No, I did not. I've been too busy typing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I want to remind everyone also that as part of my Mayor's Association, we're working on a regional approach to this also, not in place of, but in addition to. And I'm happy to say that Boswell is the engineer for quite a few of the towns in my association, because in addition to a local problem, we now have to look at this as a regional issue also. So we're working on it from that perspective also. And I feel I have to ask the tough question here. I don't know if it's a Ken, a Bob, or a John Yakimic question, so I throw it out there. If we assist with this grant, are we now creating any type of a private-public partnership? Do we have to create a partnership to work with them? I know how things work privately, but I want to make sure we're doing this right from a government perspective.
Well, if I don't, go ahead, Ken. I saw you unmute.
No, I'm just saying I would work through your office. I mean, you know more about these grants than it's a procedural thing, and so obviously, with all the towns you represent, and it would really be something really would come from your office to advise about that. I would think.
Yeah.
But wouldn't if I correct me, Anthony, I'm sorry for interrupting you. All you need is directions, and you're going to write the grant from the private end of that grant that's being offered, correct? You just need some guidance on how to get that grant to be written.
Well, we thought we were going to utilize your services, grant writer, engineer, using the town to apply for this grant. I think
Then that will be a problem, I assume.
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
that's why I want to bring it out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the tough question. So, and
I knew it would be.
And I heard Dr. Cassio, and he's correct. This grant is only meant for public entities. And so, and here we are, the last week of January. It's due. I'm hopeful it's like mid-February to get a triple P in place by that time, and all the agreements in place. To me, sounds like a heavy lift. And I think the way to do this is for the township, if it's applicable, to apply for the grant for their jurisdiction, which is the immediate upstream portion before it goes into the lake. That to me seems the direction
That seems
to
logical.
go.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
like that
direction
idea.
to go in, because I don't want to complicate matters and
Right.
eat up time and then lose the grant.
Right.
But in
Agreed.
doing this, if this seems like it's a light lift in this process, and Ms. Schaefer says, "Oh, that's no problem, you could do that," then we'll certainly pursue it. But until we get a hold of Ms. Schaefer down at DEP, which I hope to do in the next 24 to 48 hours.
All right. Well, I think
That would be
I have a
my
question.
focus.
So I get that, and that's wonderful. That's great news that we would take care of the top part of it. But we had an obligation, and this may not be popular, and I may, people may yell at me, and I'm a big girl, I can take it. We had an obligation to clean out those catch basins for years. We reported to people, we were supposed to be doing it, we didn't do it. So now they have an issue. How are we making them whole if we're going to apply for a grant that's going to fix it moving forward so that doesn't happen again? But we've already done the damage. So how are we helping them? What are we doing?
Well, right now.
Sorry, go ahead,
Right
Tom.
now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Tovo, there is a process in place for cleaning out the catch basins. Step number one. Step number two, they have to do periodic inspections. And then they would keep that as a log and run it. What my concern with that is that we need to get that buoy in place, number one, to stop anything that's flowing downstream. That's a priority. I mean, I believe Mr. Tovo and the mayor and me, myself, we've been talking about it for half a year or something. But I think that's a priority now. But if we can move past the bridge into the lake to clean that area, because I do believe township property goes past the bridge into the mouth of that lake. Now, Anthony, if we were to start cleaning there, that might give you an opportunity to flush anything that's back down there. And then maybe we can work on the county to bring their buoy in to fix that. But I mean, it's a plan. And we got to start somewhere, because I saw the flooding in Washington County, Commerce, and Bethany Church and the houses. This is stormwater damage that we have to fix, and we have to fix it fast, because this is the third time I think the Bethany Community Center was flooded, some of the townhouses. I mean, it's really an obligation that we need to protect the citizens of, and we need to look upstream where these construction sites are going. Because I did walk the path. I actually have a guy brought in one of those Hoover machines, and he did the whole lake, the whole stream for me. And it needs to be cleaned, and it's years of trees falling down there. It's blocking up the water flow. But I mean, this is a beginning. I mean, at least we got some movement here.
Okay, I appreciate
Which is a lot more than what we did for 2 years.
There was just I had one question.
Wait.
Something about a private part of the grant, that you said there was a private piece, not just the public piece. Did I misunderstand, Tom? You were saying there was a private part of the grant?
There was two grants out there, one for private and public. Now, I believe, Anthony, we missed the public one, the private one last year.
You did.
Now, the second grant came out just recently, that it looks like the Lake Association can get some money for this.
And that's
So
private,
and then
ask
John's gonna be taking a look at it,
right?
and then and I know John's gonna call, the
That's my
assembly.
question. If there's a private piece and they need some information, is there a way that the mayor and the administration would allow the information to be provided to Anthony so that they could apply for that private grant?
So the mayor has his hand up, and just a reminder, everyone, please don't crosstalk, ask to speak or raise your hand just so we can keep a little bit of order. Pete, go ahead.
Thanks, Desiree. I just want to point out to the public, and Bob or John, you correct me if I'm wrong. We are not in violation of anything. We have met the requirements for our stormwater clean out. So, we're not under any fines or anything like that. We have met the criteria. Could it have been better? In hindsight, yes. But I want to say, I just want to remind the public that, we have not violated anything. We're not in violation of not cleaning out the storm drains. I think it's important that the public knows that we're not, facing down any heavy fines or anything for not doing that.
Oh, can I speak for a second?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I just want to add something. I think that it will, it'll just be a lot easier to see how often we do it once we start keeping track of it and it's on the project tracker. But go ahead. Who would ask to speak? Anthony, go ahead. And then we're going to have to wrap it up, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So it looks like Tom's going to be my point person. So whatever, grants, whatever he needs me to do, I'll speak to Tom. One thing I want to leave with you guys though, too, is after the meeting, can you discuss a possible shared expense for our debris removal moving forward? Where we spent $20,000 and thank God we found somebody to do the work. Nobody wanted to do this kind of work. Where all the debris comes down into the lake. If you could just discuss that.
We will definitely, have that on our agenda at another point too, and talk about it. And I think in speaking with Tom, we could look at possibilities of other things. So I don't want to speak for the town. I don't know like legality wise what we're allowed to do, or but know that it's on our radar that that's what you're looking for. Miss Daisy, did you have something? Your hand was up.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to say is just to keep in mind, I think, like you said, let's move forward, what we can do from this point on. But I also don't want to point fingers saying that it was full neglect, because we don't have those records to go by. We need to cross-reference that to see how many times they were cleaned. They may have not been as visible to the residents in that area, depending on when the DPW was there, but I definitely want to see those records as far as they go back.
Mr. Togo, can you do that? Can you submit that for the council to see, whatever records you do have?
Yes, we do have records, and we do monitor especially the problematic storm drains that we're aware of, and the outflows as well.
Okay.
To answer the earlier question in regards to any violations with DEP, we are working with DEP to make sure that we're to get our stormwater plan fully up to date. A few months after I arrived here, I discovered that was not the case. I've been working with John and his team at Boswell to have that corrected. As you all know, it is an item that is subject to capital funding, and we are progressing.
Oh, you muted yourself.
You did, right?
Yes.
Bob, you're muted.
Unless did he lose his audio?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I apologize. Where did I leave off?
You were saying that you have the records and that it's part of your regular process.
And Boswell's assisting us with
You're working
stormwater.
with Boswell to get the stormwater management plan up to date.
Paying attention.
That is all correct. We made a lot of progress in the last couple of years on this. And
He must be,
Where are you?
Gone.
now.
He's gone completely?
I don't see him.
3, 4, 5, 6, 9. There's only 9 of us now.
Maybe he had an internet glitch.
Well, that's what I had in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, it happened.
Watergate.
All right. So we're just gonna I'll let him continue when he comes back on. But Anthony, thank you so much for the very informative presentation. I really opened a lot of, it opened my eyes, that's for sure.
Anybody else want to have anything?
I'd like to walk the space to see it. I don't know what it looks like today, but if we could do that, Mr. Sears.
Absolutely. Maybe in about 2 hours.
We need 2 hours, okay.
No.
In warmer weather.
Anyone else have anything to add before we go?
Desiree, Bob just called me. For some reason, his laptop says the battery is dead, even though it's plugged in. So he might be away a little longer than we think. It's not an internet issue, it's a laptop issue. So
Okay.
he's going to try and work on it, but he may not be back so quick.
Okay. Maybe he can use his phone.
Okay, I'll suggest.
Desiree?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, you have to be really careful when you do government and private entity stuff together, because we had a situation a couple of years back regarding the lake and the lowering or not lowering of a dam. So, and I think Mr. Pollard can probably give us a little information on that past case. So we really got to be careful that what we do doesn't open us to any liability. And that's an issue that we've had in the past. So we have to be extra careful. So I'm going to warn the council. I know none of you were on the council at the time, but it was an issue. So again, we have to be really, I'm sorry?
Year when that was an issue?
That was probably 2000 and happened a little bit before I got on the council, but we were continuing with litigation. So probably 2007. And I'm sure Mr. Pollard can probably talk about it at another time.
Okay.
So just let's be very careful with that. Okay.
No, that's important. Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Pollard, we'll talk about that, I guess, later.
It doesn't have to be talked about now.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Thank you. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
May I have permission to leave the meeting, Council President?
I'm sorry. No, you must stay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yukimic.
Oh, that was sarcasm. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it was not coming from me. Thank you very much. All right. I lost my paper. Okay. So now we're going to go to general public comment. Everyone okay? Everyone ready? Did Mr. Tovo get back on?
Not yet, he's working on it.
Okay. So to participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, please click on the link below to join the webinar by phone, *9 to raise hand, *6 to unmute. Each person wishing to address the council shall give his or her name and home address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. There's a 5-minute limit per caller. Speakers are to direct all questions to the council president. When the speaker is finished with the question or statement, the council will respond. All members of the public and council are expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Please don't be derogatory, abusive, or threatening, as such will not be permitted. Motion to open public comment.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I see one hand raised at this moment, Council President. Now two.
Okay. Whoever you see, let me see.
I see Stephanie DeStassi and
Okay.
Christine Rydell right now, and then Jeff. But I
Okay.
know Stephanie her hand was up first.
Okay, Ms. DeStassi? Is she on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Stephanie DeStassi, 246 Woodfield Road.
Hi, Ms. DeStassi, how are you?
Good. It's good to see some of you again. So I came a couple months ago and I've been in contact with many of you on the board for the past 2 years regarding my specific flooding issues. My flooding issues is not from the lake, although I live across the street. So I know that the whole meeting so far has been discussions of catch basins being a priority. So I was just seeing if there's an update, what can be done. Currently, my backyard is an ice skating rink from all of the ice and the snow. And like we talked about, these 100-year storms are no longer 100-year storms. They're going to continue to get worse. Myself and 4 neighbors are underwater, and we need a catch basin to prevent this. So I was just seeing if I could get an update regarding how our properties can be assisted.
Okay, so hang on the line, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have an update? Mr. Tovo, I see you're back.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Yes. Do we have an update from Mr. Stasi about the, I believe you wanted a catch basin. You were saying that's what your question was about?
Yeah, I've been talking about that for a while now. Originally, it was more than that, but we've tried to settle with just the catch basin and that myself and neighbors would pay for anything else. We really need the town's assistance to get this water from our yards into a catch basin.
Okay, so I want to be mindful of your time. So I want to expedite it, the answer. Mr. Tovo, do you know if we have an update for her?
Yes, John from Boswell and his team did a plan to remediate this flooding issue for there's a half a dozen residents or so. The pricing for that is being updated currently by Boswell and will be included in the 2022 capital plan.
Excellent. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right, Mr. Stasi, thank you.
Council President?
I'm sorry. Yes, this is new. Just so everyone is aware, this is a little bit of a new system, so we're going to have a couple of bumps. Anyone have a comment? Any of the council want to comment?
Yeah, so Mr. Tovo, Mr. Mayor, I actually requested to see if there was any money from last year's budget that we could utilize to get this taken care of, since the residents in this issue have been so generous to take care of most of the expense themselves. There was a way, I hadn't heard back from anybody if money was located in last year's budget to utilize.
Certainly not enough to do this project correctly. I only caught the tail end of the residents' comments. If there's mention of a single stormwater outlet, that's something we could look at. But if that's not part of the bigger solution, I don't know if that's an option. I will.
Catch basin, that's what she wants.
Yes,
okay, like I said, I missed the majority of what she said. So I will check with Boswell and see if that's a possibility for the short term and see if we have funding for that.
Okay, that'd be great, because I think also, correct me, Steph, if that's all you're looking for, right? That's been the plan the whole time?
It wasn't the original plan, but if that's what can get me to get the water out of my yard, then yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're gonna need a lot more than that.
Well, she's working with an engineer,
Yeah.
So they do have a plan. That's all I had. Thank you.
You're muted, Desiree.
I'm so sorry. Thanks. Anyone else have anything for Mrs. Stasi? Okay, can we move to the next caller?
Sure.
Is it Christine Rydell?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Rydell? Hello?
She's not up yet. Just wait. She's got to get promoted.
Oh, Sue's doing that. Got it. Okay.
She's muted too. No.
Muted, yeah.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Christine Rydell, 302 Hickory Street. Just 2 questions. One, I had called in quite some time ago asking about weekly recycling and garbage collection, and if we were able to, go and get bids on making one, having one company in charge of everything for the town. I'm just checking to see, if that was done, where we stand on that. And my other thing was, I know that there's been some discussion about recreation and Westwood now charging township residents a $25 out of town fee for field usage. At this point, my understanding is that township does not charge Westwood residents a $25 field usage fee. for our programs such as lacrosse and our summer rec program, our camp. And I'm just wondering if there's any discussion about that. I mean, if they're going to be charging us for their programs, I kind of think it's only fair that we then charge them for our field usage, especially considering, we do have fields that are in need of repair. And if they're going to be using our fields as well, for their summer program and for lacrosse and things like that, I say they're going to charge us. Let's turn around and possibly look into charging them and then taking that money and using it for improvements for our fields.
Thank you. You can stay on the line. I'm going to just say that I'm going to have Mr. Tovo answer about the garbage collection, but, I will say that for the second question with the rec, we were trying to, for lack of a better term, play nice in the sandbox and be neighborly. But I am really starting to lean toward that. That's a fantastic idea, actually. It's something that it can definitely be considered. I will run it by the rec board too, and then, see what the feelings are on there.
Council President, I would actually like to have Mr. Power look into putting it in the ordinance going forward, since we can't seem to come to a resolution with Westwood, to see what that would entail. Because
I second that motion.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely have tried, and I do feel the mayor has gone above and beyond to try to work with Westwood, and at this point, they're not giving us many inroads or other opportunities, or there's no collaboration, negotiation, or working together. And I feel like it'll benefit the town long term.
Yeah. And I mean, we all want to get along and whatever. So maybe baby steps, but in the meantime, we can just kind of, what's good for us is good for them. What's good for them is good for us. If we're being charged, it'll cancel itself out. I think it's a great idea. Wouldn't the rest of you?
I mean, it's am I allowed to?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, it's just, I don't want to be nasty and be like, well, you're charging us, so we're going to charge you. But at the same time, we were charged for Dragons as well. And Dragons, my understanding is it's a private program. But the answer that I received when I asked Dragons about, hey, why am I being charged $25 extra for my daughter to play soccer? And they said, well, we rent so one of them was a Board of Ed field, and the town of Westwood or something like that, they rent the field from the Board of Ed, but then they're using the Westwood field. So they're saying, well, you need to talk to your mayor and council about this because, they need to come up with a solution. And I was like, okay. But it was, they said that it's a field usage thing. And, the fields really get worn down and this and that. And I mean, just a prime example, Memorial Field. That's where the lacrosse is played. My understanding is that's where it's played. And if the field's taking a beating because of lacrosse and there are Westwood children who are playing lacrosse, then let's reinvest some of those $25 field maintenance fees and fix up Memorial Field.
Right. Okay. I think it's definitely a fantastic idea. It sounds like you have council backing. So, Mr. Tovo, you want to answer her other question about the garbage collection and the bids?
Yes, ma'am. We did go to bid for a curbside collection of solid waste. That was the easy part of the process. Part two is to analyze what the actual disposal fee would be. So working with the haulers we have in town and a number of others, we've been able to extrapolate a cost for that. Now, the cost of the curbside pickup and the final disposal are now combined into one number, which will be presented to the council at the February 7th meeting.
Do we have more than one bid?
We only received one bid for curbside pickup.
Okay.
And is that just for garbage collection, or is that also for recycling with the expansion of like weekly recycling? As I stare at a large pile of cardboard recycling at my back door right now, I'm wondering about that.
That is just curbside pickup of
garbage,
solid waste. The the recycling under a separate contract.
Okay. Is that going for a bid, or are we exploring that option to expand recycling to a weekly option?
Well, right now, yeah, we'll always look at, but currently we're under contracts with Electronic.
Okay, so currently currently the town is under contract for twice, for bi-weekly pickup. So we'd have to explore the option of weekly if we're going to do that prior to the expiration of the contract.
That's correct. And when we explore these matters,
And when
we
is that
always
contract over?
I had to check, but I think we have quite a bit of time left on that.
Okay.
And we always look at the option of once a week versus twice a week.
Got it. Okay. Just, I mean, because
Questions?
nowadays.
I'm sorry. Did any of the council have any questions? Because of time limit.
Well, I had paused her a little bit with everybody else talking, so I'm not sure you want to do that, Desiree. We need to iron that
Yeah,
out.
because it's a 5 minutes, so I don't think we can do the back and forth. I think it's ask a question, then they answer. Otherwise, it's really difficult to keep the 5 minute. I'm so sorry.
It is.
Yeah.
Desiree, but just to finish that out, if you'll allow me.
Yeah.
I looked at Westwood's 2022 recreation fee schedule late last week and over the weekend. It seems like, but I have to confirm it with them, that they have removed that $25 surcharge from the private sports. And so it's only for their town-run sports. So I want to confirm that with them. So I just want to put that out there as an update. And regarding recycling, I hope that as part of the redoing of our DPW, that we find enough space to have containers where even if people want to bring their cardboard or other types of recycling to the DPW, that we'll have enough space to do so at the new DPW location when it's rebuilt.
You're muted.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sell it to Canada.
And then
We have Jeff on the line.
Jeff.
You're so bad.
Jeff? Is there a Jeff?
He's muted.
He's muted, I think.
Here we go.
Yep.
I just wanted to thank Anthony for speaking. I live on the north end, and this is
Jeff. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Jeff Levy, 426 Chestnut.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention that everything Anthony showed you, I've seen over and over, and it is a real problem up here. And I thank you, the council, very much for being sincere in your effort to try and help us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this name wrong. Bocchino? Catherine Bocchino? Is it Bocchino or Bocchino?
Bocchino.
Bocchino, sorry. You're muted. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Who's this?
This is Rob Bocchino, 420 Chestnut Street.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I too want to thank the town for their efforts. We really need the help. I live at 420 Chestnut Street. I'm one of the board members, one of the trustees on the board at Washington Lake Association. One of the things that Tony missed, and we can provide you guys information to back up our statements, but prior to Hurricane Ida, we had a major tropical depression that filled our lake with an excessive amount of debris that cost multiple thousands of dollars to clean up. And we have the receipts to show all of that work that we did cleaning up debris that clearly came from upstream, and we're not from our lake. And shortly after spending that money to clean up around our dams, we were hit with Hurricane Ida, which brought a ton more debris. You saw the videos there. And I just want to point out that we do not have unlimited resources to remove these debris. The state tells us it's our fiscal responsibility to clean up after a storm. Our position is that the debris are coming from other town members, other people that live in the town, and not from the lake itself. And financially, we are stuck with the bill, and we simply cannot afford to continue to do this. We just recently had to raise our dues. I'm sure some of the members are going to voice their opinions on that to the trustees. We have no choice. We're depleting our cachet of extra money for events like this. And when we're out of money, there's just simply nothing we can do. The lake will flood. The members and off-lake members will get flooded. And I'm sure there will probably be lawsuits at that point. And we're trying to be proactive and not reactive at this point. And we appreciate that you're listening to us. But when I hear people saying that the town and a private entity cannot do business together because there may be legal issues and we're afraid of this, that, and the other thing. Well, we're afraid of the exact same thing. And to be quite honest with you, we know for a fact the debris are the township debris and not originating from the lake. So I just wanted to make that point. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Does anyone have anything that they want to say? No response from the council? Okay.
I think Pete's got his hand up.
Oh, Pete, I'm so sorry. I can't see it. Pete, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it was left up from before. Sorry, I'll lower it.
Okay. All right. Mr. Bocchino, I'm just going to say, Bocchino, I'm sorry. I agree. I think we need to be proactive. And I agree with you. I agree with everything that you said. So you have my support. Mr. Udina. Mr. Udina, you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Anthony Udina, 876 Bridgewood Boulevard East. I was just wondering if there's any update that you can provide on 450 Pascack, understanding, you're working with it and stuff like that. But if there's any update you could provide, that'd be great. Thank you. Have a good night.
Hang on. There may be. I'm not sure. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a new forum and we're all adjusting. So, Mr. Tovo or Mr. Poller, is there anything that can be shared? I don't know.
No.
No. Okay. It was worth a try.
All right.
I just want to get everyone out of the habit of speaking and running. So
well, thank you for working on it.
But yeah, I just want to point out, no update does not mean we are not working on it.
Yeah.
No, we are working on it. No, we are working on it.
Yeah.
We are working on it.
I understand that.
You got it.
There's no public update, unfortunately.
Yeah, totally understandable. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else?
There's a Sarah Bright that's been on.
No. We have another name in here. We have a phone number, 201-446-9902. Their hand is up.
Yeah, but Sue, I do see a Sarah Bright also.
But Sarah's an employee. She's here for later on.
Oh, okay. Whoever that number is, 446 number.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello?
There you go.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. Joseph Scalia, 813 Ridgewood Boulevard East. Hope you're all doing well. And I must say, I love this new format. So let's keep this moving.
Yeah.
So just a couple of questions. As you know, the flooding issue will remain in the town. I think one of the causes of some of the flooding is a lot of the overdevelopment that may be happening. Along with that is the large number of trees that are being removed in town. Also, along the lake properties, there's a lot of trees being removed. So that also could be some of the result why a lot of debris is moving into the lake. Now, also discussing 450 Pascack, the amount of water that could be coming off 450, if all those trees are removed, that would definitely go straight into the lake. The mayor, several months ago, when we had flooding at Washington School, we were able to bring him behind 450 Pascack and show him the storm drain that was completely blocked. And the mayor quickly had that removed. And it took several days for the DPW to come in and clean that storm basin, which could potentially have been one of the causes of the flooding at Washington School. So it just goes to, we need space in this town for water to settle. And 450 Pascack is a big piece of land adjacent to a memorial field, along with a lot of water that potentially could go into the lake and bring additional sediment. So I thank you for continuing to invest and look at 450 Pascack, but it's just not an issue for members of Ridgewood Boulevard East. It's an issue for all the people around the lake community, because if all those trees were removed, you would have a significant issue of sediment coming from that property along with Memorial Field into the lake community. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing more information about 450. I know right now you cannot disclose it, but we look forward to discussing as needed.
Thank you. Any comments? No?
Just quickly, more trees, not less trees. We need to keep our trees.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, excellent. Is there anyone else?
All right, hold on one second. Yes, we have. Let me this one. And we have Ms. Grimaldi.
Okay, Ms. Grimaldi? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Diane Grimaldi, 441 Van Emberg Avenue. Because we have several people on the council that are new, I just want to remind the council or inform the council that a former lake association offered the lake to the town for $1 for the town to take over the lake and make it township owned, which would open it up to the possibility of more grants. And, I'm not in favor or not in favor of that happening. It's just something that I don't know if the present Lake Association would be open to. And I also wanted just to make a point that watching the videos of the storm drains and the fertilizers and everything going in, that when I headed the green team back in 2009 to 2011, we did try to pass an ordinance to stop fertilizers and chemicals being placed onto lawns around the Lake Association. And it was not received well. So I just wanted to put that information out there. So thank you.
Thank you. Were you all aware of that? I was not aware that the former association offered the town the lake for $1, and I guess we didn't bite.
I think Jeff Rogers was the president of the association at that time and sat down with the council.
We did not, I remember that. We did not, it did not happen. There was some council members wanted it, some council members didn't, some of the administrators, it was just, there wasn't an agreement on it.
Do we have a year when that was offered?
Maybe Ken knows, I don't know.
2010, 2011.
Maybe it's something we could put on a referendum.
Well, but the Lake Association have to offer it first. We don't have.
I'm sure they would be willing to. They would still get their beautiful lake, and they would get all the benefits of it being, a government publicly owned or whatever. It would be a public instead of private, and they'd still reap the benefits of being on a gorgeous lake.
Don't be so sure.
Well, I guess I'm being optimistic.
I'm with you.
So thank you, Ms. Grimaldi.
Thank you.
Who else is there?
Say we have got Mr. Bocchino is back again. Then we have Jeff is back again.
I think it was one. What do we have in there? Does it say one time, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. Well, so didn't the first one just say Jeff, and now this says Jeff?
Oh, this one says Jeff R. You're right.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's see what this one is. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, you just unmuted me. I'm Jeff Rogers,
Oh, hi.
Woodfield Road. I heard what Diane said.
Yes.
Back around, I thought it was closer to 2014, Steve. The town did a presentation to offer the lake to the town. Town didn't bite. Lots of members don't want to. Lots of members want to. It would be a benefit for both, but excluding that, that's not why I wanted to speak. I just wanted to point out during the last storm, Ida, Emily Krautzer posted on the township Facebook page of the town employees cleaning a jam at the School Path Bridge, pushing all the debris through towards our lake, which we ended up cleaning up. This is one of the items Anthony didn't mention during his presentation. I'm on the board of the Lake Association currently as the vice president. So just wanted to point that out.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And that's it.
Thank you. Any comments from the council?
Yeah, I just have one, Desiree.
Or I'm sorry, I forget, and the mayor.
No, that's okay. And I'm not 100% sure. I don't think the township Facebook page allows for comments. So that might have gone to one of the other Facebook page. I just want to put that out that it may not have been on the township page, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? Sue?
Right, let's see. Mr. Jeff, we're going to remove you. And let me see, we have Mr. Bocchino is back on. And I know that there was somebody else that's been trying to reach him. They've had a hard time. There's other phone number, there's 951. And that's all
Unfortunately, we're gonna only go to one, one time that they get to speak. Otherwise, we'll be here all night with repeat people who wanted to say something. As much as I would love to hear more, if you would like to email anyone on the council for further information after you've spoken, or you can always call us. Our cell phone numbers are up there. If you wanted to elaborate more after you've spoken, please feel free to do that. But in fairness, to make sure everybody has the right, has an ample enough time to speak, we're going to say one time that you get to speak.
I'd like to try, if you don't mind, this one phone number they've been trying to get through and they've been dropped off. I don't know if this is even going to work.
I don't see anyone, but.
Yeah, there's no hand raised. I don't know if it's going to work. Hello? Hello? You need to unmute.
Hello?
Oh, there you go.
Hello? Yep, you're on.
Hello?
You're on.
Oh, hi. Thank you. Hi, Tony Plantamura from Robinwood Road, 808.
You're a little far away. Can you get closer? Yeah. If you could just get a tiny bit closer, maybe to the phone, or.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so sorry because I guess there's a glitch. I got cut off the phone twice, and I tried to call back, and it wouldn't even raise. I couldn't raise I pressed *9 several times. It wouldn't take it. So I hope you can hear me. I just want to say I was disappointed that we didn't have live meetings anymore. There's a lot of research out there about this COVID, the masks, if they even work. But going forward, I think the town should really look into continuing these Zoom meetings live in coordinating it with live meetings so that people who are disabled or seniors, or if there's inclement weather, or people who are afraid to come out because of COVID still, that they are afforded the opportunity to stay at home. But then there's also people who would really like to go to a live meeting, like myself, more often. And we have that opportunity to also come to a live meeting. So you have both things going on at once. I think it would invite more input from the community itself. And it's just something I think going forward you should look into doing both at the same time. That was one comment. The other thing is, this has nothing to do with anything except that I'm proud of the fact that I've lived in the town so long. I remember when Schlegel Lake was called Washington Lake, and I used to go ice skating on that lake in the 50s and 60s, and it was open to the general public. And I have pictures of myself. I really should send them to back in time, skating on that when I was a child. And it's a shame what happened to that lake, but just a little comment. I know it's never going to happen, but if that lake was open to the general residents of all of Washington Township, we could all afford to pay for it and chip in. But I know it's a private community now, but it's just something I miss. I have fond memories of ice skating. And for those of you who don't know, there's a macadam area directly across from the library where there used to be basketball courts there, and we used to park our cars. And the kids that hung out there were called the lake rats. And the people that hung out in Westwood Park by the gazebo were called the park rats. So those of you who moved into the town recently and didn't know that little bit of history, I was a lake rat because I used to hang out there when I left school from Our Lady of Good Counsel and walked home, or I went to the high school and I walked home. I was a lake rat. So a little bit of history for people that are new into the community. The other thing I want to say, if I get time, I don't know if I'm going to have my 5 minutes. I am very concerned with the amount of money that this mayor and council is spending. It's actually pretty scary. I wrote down a few things and I might have missed one or two things, but you have a consideration of acquiring the property at 450 Pascack Road. There's also, the town is looking into buying the swim club at about $800,000. Then you have the overhaul of the property acquired at Pascack and Washington Avenue intersection there. I know there was money that had to be spent there to acquire the easements. Then you have the Charlie Brown property that I had heard about, but I think some of the council members and the mayor were kind of surprised when the person that called up not too long ago that there's negotiations with the Montessori school there.
Tony, you have one more minute.
Before I move on from there, I think it's kind of like not very nice if there's somebody looking into that property to open for a Montessori school and all of a sudden the town's going to condemn it. I had a business where my property was condemned twice. It's not a nice thing that should happen. I think the town should let nature take its course there. And if there's already somebody interested in that property, you should let the negotiations go. And if they fall through, then try to buy that property. You got a $6 million firehouse, housing on Van Amberg Avenue, L Road development, on and on and on. I'm so concerned about the bonding issues. I'm also want to make one more comment before I get off, if I don't get cut off. Everybody talks about green space, but nobody really talks about the flooding and debris clogging that occurs in waterways because of all the trees that are cut down. I believe that Van Amberg Avenue, just that alone, there's over 800 trees being cut down, and it does affect the rooting system. It uproots the natural habitat of animals and the natural habitat in the area.
We got it. I know your time is up. I'm so sorry. We get where you're going with that. The trees coming down is becoming a much larger issue than just our canopy is lower because it doesn't look nice. It's really truly having effects at the roots, causing more flooding. We get it. We got your thought behind that.
Okay.
So one thing I want to say is I love the idea of the live meetings, both in person and Zoom. If that's something that we can work into how we conduct meetings moving forward, I think it would be a benefit to people who can't physically make it out to meetings. So how do I even begin to move that forward, Mr. Tovo? Is that something with Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky, just say, I'm sorry, Desiree, just so you know, we did look into that with Ricky. There's just a conflict. We can catch up on that after. I'll tell you what the challenges are.
Yeah, there is some, but we've been trying to look into it. Yeah.
But we are looking into that.
Yep.
Okay, we could just catch me up to where we are in the looking into phase.
If I may, other towns are doing it, so they're not challenges that we should not be able to overcome like they did. The other thing I'd like to say, Tony, if you have some pictures, the library has a history room. I'm sure they would make great additions to their history room. So if you want to drop them off sometime, I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Can I make one comment about something positive?
I just think also it's just Ricky needs a new piece of equipment. Just checking with them. Sorry.
Tony, go ahead real quick, please.
There used to be a lake too, right at when the road coming down from the hill of Washington Avenue from the Parkway. If a lot of people don't notice that there's a stone wall there on either side. There used to be a lake there. That's part of the stream and everything, and it went directly across my property, and it encompassed all the properties that circled around it. And we used to go ice skating. There used to be ducks there. And I grew up there, and we used to have rowboats, and nobody knows about it because the dam broke years ago, and it was fixed by a contractor on our road, on Robinwood Road, and then it broke again about 2 years later, and they never replaced the dam. But a lot of people don't know that there was an actual lake. The stream is still there, but the lake isn't there. And it was a really fun spot, and I have pictures of me on that lake too, with the ducks, feeding ducks on that lake.
If you could
So
submit them, yeah. I mean, we would like to put that
pretty
on the
neat.
website. That is pretty neat. I mean, that could be on the website back in time. That could be in Pascack Press, but I think you can memorialize it in the history room for sure. That was a great idea.
Where is that, at the library?
Yeah, Mayor, where is that?
I mean, she can always send it to public affairs also.
The history room?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a room in the library that's dedicated to town history.
And if she
Yeah,
sent
I have the first report card from Washington School too. I have
Wow.
the first report card from Washington School. I gave it to the school, but they took it down. I don't know what happened to it. I
I'm
still
sure it's
have
all-
it. I can make a copy.
I'm sure it's all straight A's, right, Tony?
Oh, no. Very bad report card. Very bad report card.
Daisy, can she send it
And
to
it's
you?
little stick figures.
Yeah,
It's little stick figures with a stick house. It's really cool.
If you send it to public affairs, then I can, send it off to all the right folks and we can get it up. Yeah, you could just
Okay,
send those
thank
over.
you.
Thank you. That would be an awesome addition. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else?
I did not see anybody. I'll look one more time. Come on. Okay, let's see. No. I do not see anyone else, Council President.
Okay. So then motion to close public comment.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna move on to ordinances. There's an introduction for first reading, ordinance number 22-02, an ordinance amending parking restrictions in the area of the Jesse F. George School. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 22-02 at first reading by title. Can I have a motion?
So move.
And a second? Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Resolution number 22-144, authorizing publication of ordinance number 22-02 and scheduled public hearing. Can I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. We have no individual, we have resolutions consent agenda. Following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of the council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Does anyone have any resolutions that they would like to be removed? I have one, I think this is the page. Resolution number 22-145, authorized payment of bills. Does anyone else have any they'd like removed?
No, I have the same.
No other? Okay. Can we approve them and then go back to that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So motion to approve consent agenda resolutions.
You need to go through them, Desiree.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to, I guess, expedite. All right. Resolution number 22-146, authorized shared service agreement with the County of Bergen for digital trunk radio system. Resolution number 22-147, authorized refund engineering escrow block 4310, lot 8, 385 Walnut Street in the amount not to exceed $789. Resolution number 22-148, authorized refund engineering escrow block 2202, 0.01, lot 3, 715 Amherst Drive in the amount not to exceed $256.50. Authorize agreement with BCUA Certified Recycling Professional to prepare annual recycling tonnage report. I'm sorry, that was resolution number 22-149. Resolution number 22-150, authorize various refunds of recreation fees, girls basketball 2021 and 2022, not to exceed $1,530. Resolution number 22-151, authorize refund of recreation fees, boys basketball 2021-2022, not to exceed $25. Resolution number 22-152, supporting participation in the Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification Program. Resolution number 22-153, authorize establishing and adopting complete and green streets policy. Motion to approve consent agenda resolution.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
No,
Aye.
no,
Did you say no?
no, 146, I wanted to be pulled to talk about.
Did I not ask you that a minute ago?
Well, I just pulled it out.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right. So on the bill list, we'll go back.
Okay, wait a minute, hold on a second. We need to do then a roll call minus 145 and 146.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
count.
sorry, can I also pull one? Sorry.
Yep.
Discuss a 153.
153.
Let me know whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Okay, so minus 145, 146, and 153. Councilman Cassio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
And Council President Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now for 145, you need to do a motion and a second before you discuss.
Okay. Before we discuss.
Right.
Okay. So, can I have a motion to discuss?
No, it's a motion to.
You have to read the resolution.
Resolution number 22-145, authorized payment of bills December 17, 2021 to January 19, 2022. Can I have a motion to discuss this?
So moved.
Okay. Second.
Second.
All right. I asked for it pulled. Stacy, you did too?
Yeah, I have something. I have something on the first page. So if you want to go, I'm on, and just so everybody knows, I'm on the Excel sheet, not on the where the requisition is.
Okay.
So I would like to, Mr. Tovo, if you would please, I'd like to see the detail on the payment behind the $136,964 for TechCon for the the Emergency Services Building. Would you be able to send that to me, please?
Certainly can.
Thank you. And then for just the $495,000, that's for the Motorola, that was part of the capital budget when I checked from last year, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I was just confirming that. Desiree, that's all I had.
Okay. And I had, I'm on this sheet. So it's page 4, second from the bottom, 21-01911. Cleaning service. I mean, it's not a significant amount of money. I just want to understand it. For $400 for park field maintenance expenses. Doesn't DPW do that, or is that for something different?
No, ma'am. We have a private person do the field houses at Clark, Gardner, and Memorial.
The field houses?
Yes.
Okay, and are they in use at this time?
Well, the restrooms are still open. They're on timer, their doors, so there's still cleaning required.
Oh, I didn't realize that they were open. The restrooms were open. Okay. Okay, that's one. And then 21 on page 5, 21-01966. It says USA Security Services, reinstallation of PTZ camera, $650. And then it says DMF building. What is that?
When the DPW building was torn down, there were cameras on it that were relocated to Town Hall, so we wouldn't lose our view of the parking lot.
Okay. Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Mr. Tova, what does PTZ stand for?
Pan, tilt, zoom, camera.
Okay, thank you. I couldn't even come up with what that possibly could be. So thank you.
All right, that's all I had.
Can I ask a question even though I didn't?
Yeah,
this
sure.
one? Okay.
No.
On page 13, the travel uniform for boys basketball, girls basketball, is the price difference because there are more boys in the program? Or why is there a difference between?
What page is that, Daisy? What page?
13. Kind of halfway down. So the boys' travel uniform is $32.45 and the girls is $19.25.
I'm going to assume that is because of the number of enrollment, but I will check to make sure.
Okay, just want to make sure our girls are getting the same quality.
I can assure you they are. We're using the same vendor for both.
They are. They look exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you. I agree.
Then we need more girls on our basketball team, right?
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm very happy to see that the instant verification for child is on the bill list, and that happened for basketball. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Chovo.
Thank you.
Okay. And then, so that was 145, and then someone.
I need a roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Ready?
Sorry. Yep. Go ahead.
Councilman Casio.
Just 1 second. So is everyone approving those numbers that they reviewed or not?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. Yes.
So are you okay with it?
Me?
No. Steve. Steve, are you okay with the numbers?
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, Sue. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Resolution number 22-146, authorized shared service agreement with the County of Bergen for digital trunked radio system.
Motion?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Aye. And second, sorry.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
No.
Not yet.
Wait, there's discussion you want.
Discuss.
Tom, was that yours?
Yes.
So Tom, go ahead.
Okay. Who brought this up for the council to be reviewed? Was it all the emergency services? Can somebody answer that question?
It was police, fire, EMS.
Did they all read the contract?
They were all provided the contract. I can't tell you.
All
if they
right,
read
so
it.
if you go to page 3 of 10, item 2, why would you make a 10-year agreement with the county? Why would you do 10 years with the county over a service? Number 1. Then go to page 4 of 10, where it says we still have to maintain our radio system, but allow the county to use it, which is ridiculous because we already have a radio system. And their megahertz is just the digital band. There's no big thing in that. Or in the digital trunk is no big service. But here's my concern, page 5 of 10. Item 6, they want us to give up our radio licenses to the county. Why? If we choose not to go with the county in 2 years and we back out, we have no radio licenses to fall back on. Now, this is nothing new. This has been going on for quite a long time.
Which
I'm kind of surprised.
Which section is that? A? Is that you said in 6, right? Which is that?
A. A. We're going to talk A, B, and C. Because that includes this whole thing. So I'm kind of baffled on why the fire department fought this for years. Ambulance Corps fought it for years. And the police department, just recently, they want to give up 911. So we're telling the county telling us, you have to make a 10-year agreement. We'll tell you what happens, what goes on in your town. You have to give us your radio licenses, everybody, which when I did question a particular person about this, he was under the impression that we didn't have to give up our radio licenses. So I have a big problem here. Over the years, yes, I'm sorry, Steve.
If you look at C, it says if we need it back and it's only required if it's required by law. If it's not required by law, we don't have to give it to them, right? And if we want it back, if we terminate the agreement, they have to help us get it back.
Yeah, but we will not get the same frequencies that we have, correct?
Okay, I don't know that. It's not specified,
so
so I'm just saying
yeah.
That's how they got out of that one. So
yeah.
Tovo, what were you saying?
Mr. Tovo, what were you saying?
As long as we keep our licenses up to date, we will keep the same frequencies if we choose to use them again.
And who's going to monitor that they keep our frequencies up to date?
Or is that mentioned in the contract somewhere that we haven't gotten to yet?
No, it's clearly our responsibility to keep our licenses up to date. They've just recently been renewed for a 10-year period.
So why would we ever go with 10 years with the county on anything, number one?
Whenever you go with any kind of agreement such as this, and I've seen this in multiple counties, 10 years is the standard term of contract for this type of service.
And is all the council familiar with the services that the county gives to the towns around? Have you heard the stories?
Well, I'd like to comment before you go into that. Under the termination clause, either side has 180-day out. So it's 10 years with 180-day out.
We have to give 6 months notice if we want to discontinue service with them.
Right, so it's 10 years with that stipulation.
Okay.
What is
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I want to clear that up.
Sorry, me neither.
You have a question, Councilwoman Velez, you can speak.
Yes. Yeah, I had a few questions or comments, page 4 as well. I'm just wondering what their savings is by giving up so much control.
We're not giving up any control. We're simply tapping into their system, which if we tried to purchase ourselves, would cost millions more than we've already invested.
It gives us a broader reach, right, Mr. Tovo?
A broader reach on a better system that's dedicated just for public safety.
We don't lose control. We don't lose control of the radio system. It's enhancing.
And just also bear in mind that our current frequencies are of no use to the county, but we're using up their bandwidth. So therefore, the option to utilize the frequencies we're no longer using. I can't see any reason why they would need them, but that is standard in these type of contracts.
Okay, there's a lot of control that we're giving up on page 4 in particular. And in section 5A, that it is our responsibility to purchase and maintain. So they dictate what type of equipment we need.
That's not correct. We have, right now, that's currently our responsibility. They're talking about our radios.
Okay.
Currently, we have to buy our own. In the future, we have to buy our own, our replacements or our upgrades.
But are we
buying radios now?
Well, the current radio system was 20 plus years old. That's why we spent them. That's why the money was in the capital.
But are we buying radios that are only, recommended by them? We're restricted to which ones we can buy?
Well, obviously, our radios need to match the system they're going on. They are tri-band T25 radio system, which is compatible with multiple frequencies. It's a substantial upgrade from what we currently have.
Yeah, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong. If we ever left the county or they left us, all it takes is a reprogram of these radios so we can still use them. They just have to be reprogrammed for either ourselves or a new vendor.
That is correct.
Okay, that was my follow-up.
That's what I thought. I read your mind on that one, Daisy.
Thanks.
And if you haven't gone to see the county facility, you should go up to Mawa and see it. I've been there. I know Tom's been there. I know the mayor's been there. So, ladies, if you get a chance to go up there, please do and visit. It's an amazing facility. And I think you'll be kind of impressed when you see it, if you haven't done so already.
No.
And the termination clause doesn't, allows us the time to get what we need to and have proper planning in place. And,
Yes, they wanted a shorter one and we negotiated the longer one.
Yeah.
Correct, Bob?
That is correct, Mayor. Their initial clause was 30 days.
Yeah, which we said was unacceptable.
Because you can't just,
Right.
it's in our best interest for that, have the 180 days.
Yeah, and again, I don't see it, and maybe I'm missing something. We're not giving up any control of anything here. We're just using an existing system that they have in place. But we're not. Maybe I'm missing something.
Mayor, you're 100% correct.
Okay.
My
question was also, sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Talbot, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please, go ahead.
In section 4, letter E, where it says all performance by the county shall be limited, yada, yada, and the county's budgetary restrictions. So if their budget is restricted, does that impede on our performance and what we
That
can?
means we got to kick in more money to pay for what the
We're not
county's doing.
Oh.
Well, right now, no towns on the county's radio system pay a dime to utilize the system. If they want to use county dispatch, they do pay for that.
Mr. Tovo, so this project was started prior to the current chief, correct?
Correct.
And the equipment's already been ordered and it's currently being programmed, right?
Correct.
Okay, just going back to my budget notes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, if their budget is restricted, then we are not offering less of a service to our residents as a result.
I don't want to speculate on the county, but since this has to do with emergency services, I would imagine this is the last place they are going to cut if they run into budgetary trouble, because their own agencies use the same radio system.
Okay. Those were my questions and comments.
Okay.
If I can add one last caveat to this, the state is currently building out their own T25 system, which in the next year should be complete. That system is completely compatible with the radios that are now being programmed. So if we ever had an issue, we could switch over to the state for free.
What's the completion date on that? Is there like an estimated timeline on that?
March of the state, I'm sorry, or the
No, this state. Sorry, Mr. Chubb, I should have been more specific.
When we started this process with the county, they were about a year away. So it's been about a year. So that's probably close to being complete.
And this, okay, thank you.
All right, does everybody feel that they've discussed this enough to be able to make an informed vote? Because we're going to do this, we're going to do a roll call. Okay. So resolution number 22-146, authorized shared service agreement with the County of Bergen for digital chunked radio system. Sue, can I have a roll call?
Councilman Cassio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
No.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, and then resolution number 22-153, authorized establishing and adopting complete and green streets policy. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. That's you, Daisy. Did you want to discuss it?
Yes, let me just grab it. I'm not familiar with this, so I just need a bit more explanation. This is the first I'm seeing of this, so I just want to understand it a little bit more and discuss it. I did a little research on New Jersey's safe passing law, and the numbers going up in terms of pedestrian fatalities. But if Mr. Sears, right? Or
Yeah, Mr. Sears, you can probably speak to this.
Green Street. Yeah, Green. I'm assuming Green Streets, right? If you could just speak to it a little bit more.
Well, it mostly says everything in the write-up here, but I'll give you a quick synopsis. Completing the Green Street policy, it works with our Easy Ride organization that's moving us towards our gold certification. So the state, through Easy Ride, sets us standards for us to meet: bicycles, pedestrians, signs. We have a complete checklist that we have to go through and maintain that we are reaching the goals of safe streets. Now, this is also part which in our master plan that's recommended that we have to complete. So when we complete this, we are also completing part of our master plan. Now, Easy Ride is assigning us a person through Rutgers that will work with myself and the Green Team members. If you look at the end of the page here, the big page, you see there's a checkoff list.
Yes.
We have to complete that checkoff list, and we've actually done most of it. We did some training in Washington School for the kids. We have training for the seniors, safe driving this week. We have our bicycle program laid out. We have our street signs laid out. Working with Mr. Tovo on getting the proper crossing painting done. We are moving towards our gold certification, which will move us closer to the $20,000 grant.
The how much did you say?
A $20,000 grant.
Okay. In this, on the second page,
Which second page?
Page 2. Yeah, right on the resolution. The second to the bottom, it says the complete and green streets policy applies to new construction, retrofit, and resurfacing projects. Where is that being funded? Or how is that being funded?
It's not being funded. It's a requirement that we have within our ordinances that they have to maintain the proper street width, the proper paving, that we have to make sure that they do the proper street painting.
Who's they? The town?
The town, or the vendor, or the county who's doing the painting, for the safe streets. Well, we have the proper crossing signs out there.
Daisy, if you look at the third line of it, after it says policy ordinance to provide ongoing feedback to the township related to the implementation. So if you just look at the language does say that.
I'm sorry, where?
Where it says public participation and it says public/ordinance. I'm sorry, policy/ordinance. That's where you can. It's something I didn't know. I had asked the question too on my first year. So just to point it out to you when it says things like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then, sorry for so many questions.
No, it's good. They're good questions.
So in the second portion of this, it's page 2 where it's complete and green streets policy. In number 8, it names you, Tom Sears. Do we typically name a person, not an organization, to lead these policies?
This is from Safe Streets, because they're the ones under the Green Team that we are doing the completion of the checkoff list.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question. Should it be an individual or a green?
No, it's the Green Team that's doing the completion of the certification of the policy. So the resolution is to move this forward so we can get into our goal status that allows us to complete this, plus the Rutgers is funding a graduate student to work with us on some of the certifications on the checkoff list.
Okay.
I applied for that 2 weeks ago and we got that grant. It's called a technical grant.
Okay. And then I have one more question. On page 5, number 6, what is it? The Green Streets Advisory Body. Who makes up that body?
It's going to be the council. The advisory council is the council. It's the planning board. You know, these are the people that dictate, you know, how things going forward.
Okay, council.
So there's going to be a new board, the new green.
Well, no, it's just part of the
Streets.
planning board and the council. You know, if that's how this is going to work its way out, that's how we're going to certify that.
So, Councilwoman Velez, do you feel you have enough information to pass the resolution?
Yeah, we can vote.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Okay, so resolution number 22-153, authorize establishing and adopting complete and green streets policy. Sue, can I have a roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna adjourn to conference agenda. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna ask, since it's 10 o'clock, if we could just take a 3-minute break. I know it's late, but there's biological.
You have to go to the bathroom? Yes.
So 3 minutes, 5 minute, whatever. Ricky, let me see.
Recording stopped. That was my next question.
Adjourned to conference agenda, so thank you for allowing that break. Okay, so the next meeting for the Township Council will be on February 7th, 2022, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Sign up for e-alerts and Swift 911 notifications at www.twipofwashington.us. Okay, so current business, there's nothing under administration for council. We have ordinances and legislation. Outdoor lighting, Tom?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I'd like to bring this to attention of the board. There's been several complaints over the past couple of months, and then there's some concerns about large construction that's going around in residential areas, especially when a building is dominating over other buildings. This outdoor lighting ordinance guide is actually from the state. The governor signed this thing, I think, last year. It's called outdoor lighting ordinance. And I checked in our code book, and we have nothing that is specifically deals with high intensity lighting on residential homes, industrial lighting that could, what they call is intrusive lighting. After getting some calls, I did some research on it, and the paperwork that most of you have in front of you is actually what the state has on their books. And I would really like us to go, and there's a model called glare nuisance ordinance, where now with the LED lights that are being placed on residential homes, and we're going to be getting some big buildings that their lights could be reflecting down on residents' homes. I think it's important for us to get a ordinance on the books that will guide us through the minimum amount of wattage. How should the lights be placed so it's not reflected into your neighbor's house? The ordinances that I presented to the council actually explains everything in detail, and it's quite simple for us to review and make this part of our township ordinance. I would like us to go forward with it, look at it, and if we feel we're comfortable with it, we would need to embed this into our code book. So the code official also has a guidance. If there's a complaint about somebody that has LED lighting that's just blasting all over their property, this has a guidance on how the lights should be directed and focused within the property. If there's a big building going up or construction site going up, this also dictates how this lighting, so it doesn't reflect on the neighbors around them. So I would like to have this placed in motion for us to review, and then maybe vote on it and bring it up at a separate time.
I just had a couple of questions. So a lot of our poles and light poles in town are provided by, I believe, PSE&G, correct?
Right. Yes.
So we amend the ordinance then to only include lighting on homes and on private property, or?
Yes, it's in this, it clarifies that with public service, gas and electric in this whole write-up from the state.
From the state, yeah, I was looking at the ordinance sample. Yeah, I was looking at the ordinance sample from Eatontown.
Yes, yes. That is the prime one that I looked at, and it was a good guidance for us.
So, I don't disagree with you, Tom. I would like to look at it a few more towns around here.
Absolutely. That's why I brought it tonight, for us to start the motion to look at this, so we can establish something within our code book. You know, in case we do get involved with intrusive lighting, our code official now has a direction and a guide for the residents and the community, for us to circumvent any trouble going down.
With the, when the plans come to the, when a new, just for like new construction or remediation of existing properties, are there guidelines currently in that we could also add to that would give them the knowledge prior to this so that nothing, so that they wouldn't put the house up, put some giant light, and then they would be in violation too?
And I think if that's embedded on the outdoor lighting ordinance guide,
right, okay,
within this documentation, I think that would satisfy the needs of the town and any resident that feels that intrusive lighting is being forced upon them. And these LEDs are so bright now. I mean,
right, but what I'm talking about is like making the people who are doing the remodeling to their town aware, like adding it there also, or having something with building department.
Sitting on the planning board, we really don't have a light ordinance. We ask them how many luminous is coming off your sign, and we calculate whether it's bright enough or too bright, you know.
Mr. Chovo, could we explore that with the building department to maybe they have knowledge from other towns that they have that in there as part of their review process so that, you know, a resident doesn't put something up and then they get nailed with a ticket?
I'm sorry. I also talked to Joe Sacchese, reviewed this with him also.
Okay, or Mr. Sears, you could always pull lake towns, like our neighboring towns, like Councilwoman Feeney had mentioned, and see what they're doing. If they have anything like that, we can kind of model after it.
Okay, well,
Pioneers.
I modeled the state, and the state person said, look at Eatontown, so I looked at Eatontown.
Eatontown, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
Very robust.
Right.
How many complaints did you get?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear, Steve.
I'm sorry, Tom. How many complaints did you get?
I had about 4, and maybe in the last three months. All residents with extreme light LED lighting coming from the homes. And then I was concerned about a particular, I don't want to get into this because it might be, but a particular construction that's going on that the lighting could reflect upon the neighbors that are below them.
You're talking about, when you say construction, you're talking a home going up, or you're talking lights that they're working, construction lights they're working with?
No, it's like a completed building, a multiple building.
Okay.
The elephant in the room. Okay. Are we good with that?
Yeah, I would, I don't Tom, again, I don't disagree, but I would like to keep it specific to what, the town does cover, and then work with the building department to make sure the information is provided to any residents doing work before they start exploring light fixture options and lumens and all that good stuff that electricians like.
Is the mayor's hands is up?
I'm sorry.
It is.
Someone's paying attention.
No, that's fine. I would ask, can the council maybe change the sequence that you're discussing things? Because we've had our employee from the building department on for probably more than a half hour to talk about the one thing under financials. So if we could maybe just jump to that.
That's fine, we can do that.
Get off and go about her business.
That's fine.
Great, thank you, appreciate that.
Poor Sarah. Sorry, Sarah.
So we're gonna go to the financials building department fee schedule. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we done with that subject for the moment, though?
Yeah, outdoor lighting.
Yeah.
We're done with outdoor lighting.
Okay, doke.
Right.
Thank you.
Sarah, you're on.
I'm sorry, Council President, can I jump in first?
Sure.
Just a reminder to council, we began the discussion regarding construction fee schedules over 2 years ago. Because of COVID, we decided not to go with any changes to our current fees, which at that time were 12 to 13 years out of date, at least the majority of them were. Now here we are 2 years later, we're approaching 14, 15 years since they've been adjusted. So we've asked the construction department to put a new fee schedule together that is consistent with our cost and what our neighbors are charging. Not my intent tonight to take a deep dive on this. I wanted to get this information to the council for review so that at a later meeting, we can actually put this in ordinance form with Mr. Pollard and move it forward. Keep in mind the way we're currently structured, the cost of operating the construction department is shared by all the taxpayers, where ideally it should be supported and funded, at least in large part, if not entirely, by the permitting fees. So that's really the drive behind all of this. So I would ask council to take their time, review what's been supplied, and please feel free to send me emails regarding questions on increases, and I will consult with our head TA, our construction official, for their feedback. If Ms. Bright wants to add anything to that, I would leave that to the council president.
No, absolutely. She's been waiting long enough. I would like to hear.
Hi, everybody. I mean, if anybody has any questions about the fee schedule, or if they want to know what we actually brought in last year versus what we could have brought in, I do have those numbers. They are only the subcode fees, so it's not, I don't have like the certificate of occupancy fees, because that is a percentage of those subcode fees, and not every permit requires a certificate of occupancy. So I'm, whatever questions you want to ask, I'm more than willing to answer.
If you could, that would be great. If you could tell us what we could have brought in and what we did bring in, just so we can get a little bit of an idea.
Yeah, sure. So again, like I said, this does not include certificate of occupancy fees. It also does not include the resale fees that we bring in, the generator zoning application fees. There's a few other fees that are not included that we bring in, but the totals for the subcodes that we brought in was $210,502. Now, if we had updated the fees, it would have been $304,412. It's almost $94,000 difference.
And that's in line with other surrounding towns in the immediate area?
Yes. So when we first looked into updating these fee schedules, like Mr. Tovo said 2 years ago, I looked up almost every single town in Bergen County that had a similar population size to our town. And all of them were priced higher, like all of their fee schedules were higher than ours. And I've also heard directly from contractors state that we have the lowest fees that they've ever heard.
Interesting.
Can you share with us which towns you've looked at?
Oh goodness, again, it was 2 years ago when I initially. I've been waiting for this to be updated for 2 years. So I looked at. Oh goodness gracious.
Can I interject, Sarah?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you like to just compile a list? I can share that with the council.
Yeah, absolutely. I can get that list together. That's not a problem.
Is that okay, Council President?
That's fine. I just want to make sure it's towns like demographic wise, etc.
I can assure council in my years of working with Ms. Bright, she certainly covers all the bases.
I don't doubt that for a second.
Just wanted to reaffirm that.
Okay.
So is there, Mr. Tovo, is your plan to make a recommendation of a gradual increase, or what are you thinking for the fees and moving them forward?
Well, I think if we had moved on this 2 years ago, we did discuss a gradual increase. I think we're at a point now where we have to take a deeper dive on the numbers presented. They're more than within reason. I'd recommend we make the full jump, but certainly that's up to council to dictate to us what they're more comfortable with.
So just one more question. If you look at the fees, Sarah and Chitovo, when you look at it, like one of the most common fees, just as an example, like what is the price difference that we're looking at from like $100 to $150 or $1,000 to like $1,500? Like I just like one of them just to get a gauge.
So I'm trying to think. One of the biggest things that we issue permits for is replacement water heaters.
Okay.
Currently, those are $50, which is also what the minimum fee for any of our subcodes is.
Okay.
That would go up to, give me one sec. Oh, do I not have it on the screen?
Or just how about a rough estimate, not something that we're going to, hold you to?
Peter, I see your hand. Just give me a minute.
I want to say it'll go up to $60. But if it's only by itself, it would end up being a minimum fee of $100. So if someone's replacing their water heater, they would no longer be paying $50. They would be paying $100 if that's the only item that they're applying for. But if it's part of a massive renovation, it would be $60 for that water heater, which would be part of their whole permit fee.
So then the minimum charge in the department is $100.
The minimum charge will be $100 if the fee schedule is changed to what we recommended.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Cassio, just give me a minute because the mayor's hand was up.
Sure, no problem.
Actually,
Go ahead.
I forgot to lower it from when I asked you to go out of sequence, so
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. My major question is, you tell me you had just these fees alone. Now there's a lot of fees that aren't cooked into this in the whole building department. Correct, Sarah?
There
Like
are
the
additional
COs.
fees, but they don't necessarily, they're not UCC fees.
Right. Okay. So my question to you is very basic. You took in $210,000, right? Approximately. What did you expend? Or your
I
expenses?
have not ran those numbers yet. I need to request a couple of numbers from the CFO. I do have 2020's numbers though in front of me.
Okay.
So 2020, we took in $145,952, and that's between construction fees. Give me one second. I'm just gonna pull it over here.
Sure. And that was 2020?
Yeah, so 2020, that include permits and certificates. So the construction, the subcode fees and the certificates. In addition to that, we also brought in $1,600 in penalties. So anybody that has a violation on their property, we brought in $1,600 for that, totaling out to $146,683. Now expending between salary, health benefits, other expenses like office supplies, and indirect costs, which are what our portion of like the water and the electricity, et cetera, would approximate out to. It was almost $200,000.
Okay.
That was COVID too, right? We were shut down for a
That's
big.
a COVID year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran 2019's numbers, which I can also pull up. Give me one second. 2019. So in wait. No, it's not letting me see 2019. Okay. Well, 2019, the subcode fees totaled out to $133,647, and we could have brought in $196,647. So it's a $63,000 difference. I know that's nowhere near this last year. But this last year we did a lot of additions, a lot of massive renovations, and I think actually more permits than 2019.
We're leaving between 70 and 80,000 on average on the table.
Yeah.
If I can interject for one moment,
For COVID
please
year.
please keep in mind with the upcoming larger projects that we have, adjustment to the fee schedule would be critical. That will be a lot of revenue to the town, that otherwise would be shared amongst the taxpayers. A lot of revenue to the town, that otherwise would be shared amongst the taxpayers.
If you have a fee schedule you'd like us to entertain with the prior and current and send it to us, I mean, I think that would be, I think that's next steps. I don't know if anybody else agrees or not.
So you want a comparison between current and proposed?
Yeah, and I think then we could look to move forward with that after the next, if that's okay, or if we could.
I agree.
If the council could review between now and the next meeting, if we can agree for Mr. Power, if we agree on it, then go forward for the following meeting. I mean, I think that's that would be my recommendation. I don't know if anybody seconds it or not.
I'll second that.
I'll second that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually 2 years ago, I actually created that comparison as well.
Oh, good.
I'd like to see the past numbers of the past couple of years. And again, I don't mind raising fees if it breaks even in that department. I have no problem with that because that's okay. It should be a break-even department.
Right.
I don't want to soak people that are improving their homes, which are improving our town overall.
Exactly.
Okay. And prohibit construction, replacement of, I don't know, toilets or something in their house. When they go to sell it, it only helps us in the long run.
Right.
So it should be a wash. And that's my only thing. Again, last year you really can't talk about because everyone's home. They're replacing everything they possibly could, right? Because COVID, they're stuck home. They want to make their office luxurious. So if we can get a little history, maybe the prior 2 or 3 non-COVID years and see where it falls. And that's where I'd like to, that's where I'm going to hone in on at this point.
Great idea. And then I appreciate Stace as well, what the proposal of the increases are, because I don't want to bang anyone over the head either who's improving their home. But like Steve said, they were upside down. If they were breaking even, that's one thing.
Yeah, we just keep in mind that we don't want to lose sight of the big projects coming through too.
Right.
Mr. Tovo has his hand up.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tovo, go ahead.
Thank you. If you look at what Ms. Bright provided, she does show you the prior fee as well as the recommended new fee. I'm not sure what more than what Mr. Cassio asked about the more history that we could provide for you. So a large part of that is already there for you.
I think we're referring to prior years, like in historically, so we can see what the trend was, if it was just an odd year, or if I don't know.
See the fee schedule in my packet.
Well, the fee schedule is the current and the proposed, I think, right? Is what you put in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see it in. I've gone to the page.
You have it in here. It's
Okay, we will resend that tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So the comparison was sent between what it currently is and what we propose.
Yes, it's
per
the
fee.
building, it's the Sarah, it's electrical, it's plumbing, mechanical.
I see.
Fire, certificate of occupancy.
I see the.
And then you've got some other things that you highlighted. I'm assuming that these might be our sections in the code.
Yeah, I see the code. I don't see the fee schedule.
Well, it's look behind the letter regarding the garages, Stacy.
Okay, because I see with the highlighted pieces is that's what.
Right. Go forward now. Go back. Go towards the front of the packet. Then it's right before that.
Maybe I missed that. Sorry.
Can I just ask a question?
I think that's reasonable. Sorry, I just think I'm sorry. I completely missed that page and went to the next one where it talked about the ordinance.
Go ahead.
I guess to Mr. Tovo. So just for my understanding, the money collected then goes right back into the building department? And that is what we're referring to as break even?
Yeah, it's not accurate to say it goes back to the department, it goes back to our revenues. But at the end of the day, when we analyze our department, our cost out should be as equal as it can be to what's brought in through permitting fees.
Okay.
So it should be budget neutral by year's end.
Okay. All right, I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think the fees look reasonable. There's nothing here that's exorbitant.
What
add up when they're doing one at a time. They really do add up.
Yeah, but if you look at the price per square footage too, like that's very reasonable from 5 cents to 8 cents. And then, I mean,
I personally don't, as I think everybody stated, we certainly don't want to hurt our residents if they're trying to improve their homes.
Right.
We have to find a happy balance.
You may be more gradual, like hot tubs and spas from 40 to 90. That's a big jump.
There are, in my opinion, there are some big jumps.
I mean, if we put like a schedule together, do a half and then half the following year.
I'd like to also see what the other towns, what their fees are. The contract, we're saying we're one of the lowest. I'd like to just have some comparison.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sarah, the numbers that you used for the money that we left on the table, was that an average of a group of fees, a group of towns?
Wait, I'm sorry?
She didn't hear you.
I didn't quite catch what you said. I'm sorry.
All right, no, that's okay. You came up with like we collected 200,000 this year, but we could have collected 300,000 with the changes. Did you take an average of the towns that you already looked at?
No. So what I did was using our program that we have in the town, in the department, the spatial data logic. There's a way to analyze the fee schedule as it is and compare it to a change in the fee schedule. So I ran the comparison and that's how I pulled the numbers.
Right, but the numbers.
I also could have done it by hand and it would have taken me
No.
a heck of a lot longer.
No, the numbers that you used for the comparison, where did you just use a percentage by fee? Or did you use an average of other towns' fees? Where did you get the new numbers for when you ran it? Not how did you run it, but like
okay. I pulled the fee schedule of surrounding towns, or surrounding Bergen County towns that have similar population, like I said before. And I conferred with a construction official, and we came up with these numbers.
Yes, Stacy, I think it's the ones that she has presented. Those are the numbers she used.
No, I
know where they came, where she got those numbers. They're not just arbitrary numbers that she's like, you know what, we're going to change this 25 to 35. Did they come from somewhere? Yeah.
No, we based it off of fees that we saw in other town fee schedules.
Right. That's why, because I was thinking that, Sarah, she's already done the work to show us that these are the surrounding fees, and I was just pointing that out to everybody that she did do the research on this.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Sarah. We will look forward to looking over some of the fees and having more discussion, because some of them are reasonable, others seem like a hike. So I think that not everyone is comfortable with it. I know I'm not. With all, yeah. So But we'll definitely keep on our radar.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay, so where were we up on top? We're gonna go to landscapers, tree vendors, registration. Tom?
Yes, thank you. As you heard, the conversation with Anthony, the amount of trees that are coming down throughout this town, it's gotten to a point where it's ridiculous. The vendors are coming in, taking trees down. Actually, I visited a site today where 5 trees were taken down and no permit was issued. I was there with the code official. I looked around other towns, and I want to thank Sue for assisting me in getting this information. Thank you, Sue. We looked at Ridgewood, Woodcliff Lake. I looked at Hackensack. They're all requiring these tree landscapers to register with the town. They pay a $50 registration fee. They get a permit to put on their truck. They must show that they have insurance. The vehicles have insurance, and they have certification from the state. We have to do something. We have to stop the removal of these trees, and we need to control who's coming into this town. I gave you the review that Sue from Ridgewood, Woodcliff Lake, Hackensack is so demanding on their contractors. I didn't even want to bring it forth. And some of the other issues that should fall under Chapter 465, I'm requesting that all landscaper and tree removal businesses who remove trees or do maintenance on trees must register with the town clerk. All vehicles that are involved with their work, supply all vehicle, their insurance, registration, and current status. Along with the businesses, we need to see their insurance. The resident and the company performing the work must have a copy of the tree permit in their possession. You have a contractor that says 1 tree, he comes in, 3 trees come down, and they use the excuse, well, I didn't have the permit, the owner said, to take these 3 trees down. It's got to stop. Registration of $50 is cheaper than anybody around. You'll come in, you'll register all the vehicles that you're doing the work in the township. You have 4 vehicles. It's still a $50 fee. You register all 4 vehicles, and we'll give you a sticker to put on your truck. Now, I talked to other contractors that work within the township. They do this all over. It's required by a lot of towns. No magnetic signs on vehicles are to be accepted. A lot of these contractors come in and they throw a magnetic sign of a person that has the state registration. They put it on their truck. I would like the permits to only last 120 days. If you can't get a contractor tree guy in 120 days, then something's wrong. And you can come back and review it with the town. All emergencies, everything's out the window if there's an emergency. They will be reviewed by the code official. Any life-threatening situation will be done first without any permit, any documentations. Done first without any permit, any documentations. That is a must. Any life safety is the priority of the people in the town. All vendor permits have to be maintained. Now, you're probably saying, well, why are we doing this? I know Pete's aware of multiple situations. I know some of the council people are aware of multiple situations where they come in on a Saturday and they hack down a bunch of trees. I actually witnessed a tree coming down with a vendor that had no license on his truck, showing that he was a qualified license, doing it by hand, cut the tree, part of the tree down, and it smashed through the fence of the people's property. It's getting out of hand. We're losing too many trees within this township. And you can see how it's affecting the waterways. So I would ask the council, please consider this. Let's make this a priority. We have to save this town. We can't allow the vendors to come in and just hack away. We need to monitor. And another caveat is, if you sign up as a vendor within the township, we can put a web page out and say you're a certified vendor. You have the certification. If somebody wants to look up a tree person, we can have it on our web page. Say this person's certified. He's registered within the town. He has his insurances. He's covered. So this is something I would really like to move forward. Consideration for the council.
Councilman Sears, I just have a question. I agree. You have me 100% with the tree removal companies. I think they should register. I'm not sure I share those same concerns with the landscapers. Do landscapers typically remove trees?
Well, you got to be careful because the trucks, some say landscapers, and they take trees down. So I'm not going to register landscapers that are cutting down. That's why I said any landscapers that do maintenance on trees. We can redefine that if you want, but I just want to make sure that anybody that's doing work on trees must register within this town.
Yeah, that
I don't want to do landscapers because that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know, there's
100%.
too many locals that use this as an income. But it's the people that come in and hack the trees down.
So really, like the tree removal companies with the big trucks. Mr. Casco, go ahead. Dr. Casco.
Yeah, just a couple of questions, Tom. First question is, to be a tree removal specialist, do you have to be licensed by the state?
Yes, you do. You have to take several Rutgers courses and get your certification through the state.
So anyone with a chainsaw can say, hey, I'm going to cut my tree down. Okay, right? Is that true?
We want to stop, yes.
Okay. Is it against the law if they take it down in any other jurisdiction?
Well,
like
yeah.
Right now, is it illegal for someone to work for a landscaping company, not have the certification, take a tree down?
I couldn't answer that question. I would have to probably run that by Ken.
That's a question I'd like answered too. You want this enforcement. I'm all about enforcement of keeping the greenery. Who's gonna enforce these people when they pull up in front of my house, and who's gonna look at their sticker? Are we gonna have the police do that? Who's gonna do that?
Well, okay. So that leads us to multiple questions that we've asked this over the years about dogs in the parks. You know where I'm going with it, Steve.
I know.
And you've asked this.
It's all about
multiple other things. Yes.
Putting the rules down are fantastic. Okay, it's good, but is it going to be enforced? If it's not going to be enforced, then we're just wasting our time, and that's my major concern on a lot of things.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, I have no problem doing it.
That.
It's got to be enforced because that's all my concern is right now.
And I agree with you 100% on that. And I think we have to do something. We have to control it. And maybe we can get to that point where we'll say it's the police and the code official. If you call the code official and say, no, he's handling trees now within the township. You call the police call the code official, or I've known people call Sue. And I know people have called me, and I would call the code official.
And Tom, you've seen this before. They come in and they cut a tree down, and after the tree's down, there's no going back to replacing the tree. It's gone. So that's it's one of those things that once it's gone, it's gone. And that's the hardest part about this whole enforcement of trees and all that stuff. So those are the quandaries that we have. We're trying to fix these
100%
things. Those are things
behind you, Steve.
We have to work out.
100% behind. But I think making the first steps, them coming in and register, at least they now know that we're going to be looking at them, that we're making sure that they have the insurance.
I understand.
Vehicles. And I truly believe that the code officials should be addressing these issues. And maybe we can talk to the mayor and Mr. Tolbo to direct those complaints right to the code official.
I mean, personally, when you talk about registering a vehicle, I'm not really concerned about that. My concern is someone's cutting down a tree and they don't have the liability insurance more than the vehicle insurance.
Yeah.
Because like you said, this guy took a limb down and went through someone's fence. Well, it's your fence. I didn't mean to break it. To me, that's more of a concern than the actual vehicle itself, to be quite honest with you. So,
That's why
those are my concerns.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm 100% behind you, Steve. That's why I also added that they must show their insurance, their company insurance. Now, we can't control the loose gun, like Dr. Cassio is saying. But at least we can start narrowing down these trees coming down. We can't do it anymore. I mean, the code official today, 5 hacked right down, no permits.
And don't we already have the form that they're going to, so in addition to the form that we already have to say that this is the address, this is the location of the tree removal, now that they'll have to register. I'm not a fan of not allowing magnetic signs because I know a ton of contractors that use the magnetic signs, especially for the parkway or other roads. So that's the only issue I have, but.
Fine. I mean, we can remove that issue
Is the code official out on Saturdays when most of that is happening?
I have called him and he has responded on a Saturday.
He works Saturdays. I don't know.
Questions for Mr. Tovo?
Oh, you got double hands up here.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Who came up first? I don't know.
I did, but I'll defer to Bob first.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. We are right now hiring a new code official. They'll begin beginning of February, and they will have Saturday availability.
Great.
Perfect.
Mayor, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't do my homework on what I'm about to talk about, but we also have to look at the fees for violations, and we have to make it hurt enough so people get the message that if you're going to do this, the first few people are going to pay a hefty price, so they see that we're serious about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, because I was in court in 2015 in another town, and I was very surprised to see that a gentleman took a tree down, and the tree was actually dead, and the town said to him, if you had just filed the $25 application to have the tree removed, you wouldn't be receiving a $2,000 fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He was required to pay, even though the tree was dead.
Yeah.
The town fined him $2,000, and he wasn't the only one in court who got a tree fine. And if I added it up, it was probably around $10,000 in tree fines for people.
It's nice income, and word like that will spread quickly.
Right, and then you won't do it.
I wanted to add that what Council President Morgan said, that I agree with the tree vendors, but I am hesitant about landscapers.
I put landscaper that do the trees, because you see on their trucks, maintenance. I just want the guy, I'm a landscaper. I'm not a tree cutter.
My other comment is, when these trees are removed, right? I'm assuming we follow the 2-for-1, right? You take one down, you plant 2. Is that how it works here?
It all depends. Like if you get a permit to take down 1 tree, it's not 2-for-1. If you go above 3 trees, you come before the planning board, you're involved with a construction site. I'll give you an example, a hypothetical example. A guy's taking down 18 trees on an acre of land. Well, then it's 2-for-1. And he has to show us with a landscaping plan where those trees are going to go. Now, if his house happens to be in the midst of those trees, well, you can't calculate all those trees, but you still want him to put particular trees back. That's why that's like a negotiable thing on the planning board. Plus, we also have the tree fund. He may say, listen, I know I have to take these down, but I'm going to donate some money to the tree fund to help populate more trees in the town. So there's options out there for them.
Okay, because my concern is you take down a tree that's been around for 100 years and you plant it with a 6-foot or 4-foot tree that is going to take another. So that's not going to serve us a purpose with the animals, water, any flooding, anything. So it's got to make sense too. You can't take down these huge.
We have a list of trees that the state recommends to put back. If you take like a heritage tree down, these trees are flowering trees. They don't get as big as an oak or a pine. They no longer want us to plant ash or red maples. Red maples are coming up with some kind of disease forward, and the ash trees are just loaded with this type of Japanese beetle that's killing them. There's hardly any ash trees left within the township. Yeah. Thank you. So if we could work on this and make a plan up, I'll be more than happy to sit down with anybody.
Desiree?
Yes.
Again, just a suggestion. We're getting kind of late and we still have a lot of things to cover and close. Would the council consider, unless any of the remaining things are urgent, putting them on the next conference session? Because midnight is quickly approaching.
And I have a lot of closed session stuff. A lot
I'm
of
going
closed
to leave that
session.
up to the council to decide.
I'll second that. I agree, because we need to be alert for closed. Just saying.
Tom and Daisy and Steve.
Whatever you want. You run the show.
Yep, but I am
If we could please make sure that the other items are at the next council meeting, because I have a time frame on one of them. That's critical.
Okay.
Okay, critical. Which one is that?
The idling of vehicles. I'm just looking for not an ordinance, but a resolution to be passed that we support the state of New Jersey, NJAC 72714, 15, that we support that all vehicles stop idling within 3 minutes. You'll see it on your package.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
But
this is one of our major steps for safe streets
Okay.
that will
So
lead
let's
us.
do that one, and then we can table the others, move those to February 7th, but let's do that one.
And this is just the resolution supporting, from the township, supporting the state's
Requirement
New
of-
Jersey idling requirements.
Okay, you have my support.
Deadline for that.
31st.
You're not going to get an argument, I don't think, out of anyone that's saying, no, I want them to continue to idle.
Yeah, that's how I was saying.
So I think we can move that one, can we?
Yep, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Or is that what we're doing? Ken?
I mean, that you want that resolution that they gave you right there, right, Tom?
Yes, please.
Right.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, so can I ask for clarification?
Sure.
Sorry. So Mr. Pollard, so are we approving this right now or?
Well, you
leaving
want
it for the
to
February 7th?
approve? Are you approving it now, Tom, or?
That's what I'm
Well, I
asking.
would like to get it approved because then we would have to.
By the 30th? All right.
Yeah.
Let's approve it so he can move it for the safe streets thing that we need to do.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second. Oh, I can't do it. I can second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. Then we'll do roll call, Sue, or all in favor?
No, roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call, okay.
Roll call.
Okey-dokes. Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. That's pressure off me.
Sue, excuse me, I'm sorry. There's a hand up in the panelists, in the attendees. Is that?
Hand up there. Ms. Grimaldi does, but you know.
It's probably
Mr. Pollard?
leftover. Yeah, it's probably leftover. No.
Oh,
No.
maybe. Yeah, she moved it. Okay. Thank you,
Done.
Maldi.
All right, so I will draft up the resolution with a number and have Desiree sign it tomorrow.
Great.
Okay?
Perfect. So then the other ones will go on for February 7th. That's
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So, even the miscellaneous. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's see then.
So I guess we would go.
Closed session.
Yep, closed session, resolution number 22-154, acquisition of property, contract negotiations, health contract, litigation, Washington Township Center. Can I get a motion to enter into close?
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so are we coming out or are we not? What are we doing?
I think we have to come out,
Okay.
don't we, Ken?
If you're gonna do a contract, and if you're gonna do a contract, you're gonna come out. Yes.
Yep. So we'll come out for 30 seconds, but we're coming out.
And then we're going to use the original link to come back in, just so.
I hope so.
Are we? Okay, so what do we do?
I hope so. I'm gonna give it a shot.
What do we do? So we're getting off this and then just re-sign in again?
No, she sent the closed one,
Oh,
Yeah, we have to go into close, so you gotta get off of this one.
All right, yeah, okay, all right.
but then to come back after close.
Bye.
Unless, wait, Desiree,
Yes.
does the council have enough information to vote on the contract now? Or do you need to discuss it actually? I'm just throwing that out there, then we don't have to come back into open if you think you have enough from what.
I know I do, but we can't really discuss it here. It has to be discussed and closed, right?
Well, you can discuss if you want to take a vote, can't you, Ken, before you go into close?
I mean, if you're not gonna, you can even discuss it if you wanted to. And if you don't want to discuss it, you would need to discuss it in closed, you go into closed. If you're all satisfied the way it is, and you want to put whatever, if you're making a change or whatever you're doing, and you want to do that right now and then take the vote, you can do that too. It's totally up to you. The purpose of the closed session is if you need to, it's part of negotiation or discussing the strategy of the contract or changes that you need to be put into the contract that you think are beneficial, and it's part of a negotiation, that kind of a thing. So then you'd have the closed session. So it's totally up to you.
Can I kind of, I already know my discussion. Well, I mean, I already know my vote. But I would like to explain why I had a problem with the vote prior. Can that be done here?
We should stick to the, well, okay, if we could do it here, fine. If not.
Okay, let's do it here.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Give me 1 second.
So we're going to discuss it here. I just don't want to say anything that I'm not supposed to be saying.
So you're going to be talking about it publicly, correct? Everything. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you need to, do yourself a favor. Go into close.
No, let me ask you guys something. I mean, we can understand what we're not allowed to say. Everyone receives the new contract, yes?
Yes.
Do you have issues with what's in the new contract?
No.
If yes, then we need to go into close to discuss it.
Right.
If not, we can decide to vote.
Right.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an issue with what's in the contract?
No, no.
Okay. So then you can go ahead.
Okay. So the issue I had is what I wanted to say, what it was. Okay, I can say that.
That's
yeah.
okay. That's all right.
Ken, should she do it now or after you do a motion in a second?
Well, first of all, let's make a motion to suspend the rules to bring this on the agenda, because it wasn't going to be on the agenda. So a motion to amend to suspend the rules to move the health contract to the conference agenda to be considered. Okay.
I make that motion.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
This is only for the health. This is only for the contract, right?
That's only the contract. So, do that all in favor, I think.
All right, give me a second. I'm still catching up to you real quick.
All right.
Okay, so it's, I'm sorry, Tom, you motioned?
Yes, I did.
And I'm sorry, who's second? Stacy?
Yep.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Okay, you want a roll call vote, Mr.
Yeah.
Power?
Yeah. No, that one could be all in favor on
Okay.
all in favor on the suspend the rules. It's okay. All
Aye.
in favor. It's okay.
Aye.
On favor?
Right. All right.
Everybody's good?
Hi, yes, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So, as far
And now make a motion. You have a resolution to approve that contract, correct?
oh,
Yes, I
okay.
do.
All right. So you have to have that resolution and you have to make a motion to introduce that resolution, have a second, have your discussion, and then have your vote.
Right.
Right, so what resolution is that?
It's the title is the exact same as what it's been, Desiree.
What's the resolution number?
The resolution number.
22-155.
Okay, 22-155.
Right, the next one after closed session. So I just went in the order.
Okay, so 5-4 is the other one, acquisition of property. This one's 5-5.
Right, 5-4 was going into closed session. This
Right.
one is going to be the next number. So that's what I'm putting on there.
Contract negotiations, health contract. Okay. So the reason that I had an issue was because initially,
You need a motion.
Yeah, just a motion, and I'll make a motion to go into the.
I'm seconding it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Okay.
No.
No.
Now you have discussion.
Yes, we gotta discuss.
Wow, it is so late. I really just want to get this over with.
That's right. Listen, we'll discuss and then roll call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Let's discuss. The reason I had an issue with it, I'm not thrilled with the new contract, but I know that we need it. There was a 4% increase in this new contract that we were given, as opposed to our previous contract, which was a 2% increase for 2 years. So we were given the contract that I said no to, that I wanted to table, showed a 4% increase plus a 1,000+ stipend for COVID. So my issue that I was taking issue with was that I didn't feel that, we should get a 2% increase 1 year in the year of COVID. And now we're getting a 4% plus a COVID fee. They have come back and it is a little bit less. It's a 3.75.
2.5.
It's 3.75 overall.
Correct.
Big picture, 2 years. It's not much, but it's a couple hundred. I just feel that it's really important that we definitely look at all these contracts prior to just pushing them through, which is what I did. And everyone's saying they're so wonderful, wonderful. That was never the reason. I do agree they're fantastic. But if we have the ability to see the contract and negotiate a little bit, I feel it's a prudent thing to do. And that is why I tabled it. But I am willing to vote on it now because they have budged. They did see that, we are looking at the contract, and that's my position.
I just have one question in regards to the reasoning that did they give a reason back as to why they would not waive the COVID fee when the COVID was included in the previous contract?
They did not give us a reason. Maybe they gave Mr. Tovo a reason.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
They did. It was a cost of increased hours by the public health nurse. Obviously, they're paying, so that cost basically passed along to the towns using these services.
Okay.
And I'm going to also encourage the council to take full advantage of the contracts, which apparently we didn't previously, and have them with the bullying classes and all of the other stuff that they offer. That was really, I guess, our oversight that we should have seen, and we didn't see it.
You had a lot of other things on your hands at that time.
Yeah. So we'll be looking for some more of what they're that they're going to offer us in the contract with the bullying and all the classes or whatever it is, presentations that they say that they offer. So we'll definitely take them up on that.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, now the COVID fee is going to cover both years, just one-time fee.
That's correct.
Okay.
And it's not a per year, it's that fee for over the 2 years.
Yeah, for the life of the contract.
Right. Yeah. And I would like to point out just to the public that we did the math, and over the past 4 years and including these 2 years, the average increase is 1.21% per year. So I think we did good.
It is pretty good overall.
Yeah.
But it's still, you know, I know everything's gone up in price. I with that explanation, I do understand the COVID fee. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
One question, in our packet, we have the reports for each month. How often do those come out? Do we get, December's in January and February, or is it quarterly?
Quarterly. Well, at the Board of Health, it's done quarterly, the meetings, that's when we get them. So I don't know if do you receive it, Mr. Tovo, do you receive these reports?
I have not in the past on a monthly basis, but they're more than willing to do that.
Because that was helpful when I saw it broken down this way. That was helpful.
So we can adjust that.
I mean, if the council, I'm okay doing it quarterly too. It's just so that we know, what's going on under this contract.
And like I said previously, I'd like my health rec advisory board, my health advisory board, not rec, sorry, to play a more active role in using more of the things that they're offering also, in addition to the council.
Yeah, I agree. And then also, they should have a say too on the contract, I think.
As an advisory board, I wouldn't go that far. That's not their thing to negotiate contracts.
No, I'm not, I didn't, number one, I did not say negotiate. I
Oh,
meant
sorry.
they should have input on the reviewing the contract. Like, I'm not talking about negotiations at all.
Okay.
And there may be some things
I
that
misunderstood.
members on the board may want to see, or maybe they have input that they don't have use for. So their input's valuable for sure.
Of course, yeah.
Fair.
I read too much into your comment.
Is everybody ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to read the resolution and then we pass it. Yes.
Well, you do a roll. Yes, you do your title. Well, you did your title, and it's just now roll call.
Roll call.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to motion to enter into closed session. And then we're not coming back. We're not coming back, Ricky.
Right.
Okay.
I'll motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, see you in a little while.
Oh, right.